presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are San Diego.
It is Sunday in San Diego. It must be Military Sunday. We welcome you to Military Sunday, presented by USAA. Game 3 of a 3-game series between the Cardinals and the Padres. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Mark Grant. Welcome to Padres baseball. Well, the Padres are trying to take 2 out of 3 today from the Cardinals. They'll face Mike Leake, a 28-year-old veteran, a guy who has not pitched so well so far this season, but you know that's going to change.
We've seen the Padre hitters, Don, be very aggressive early in the count, and Mike Leake right now, as we speak, does not have really good numbers. This guy's a sinker baller. He needs to get the sinker down to get grounders. Right now, winless, ERA just under 6. This guy relies on the ground ball. He's been up in the zone. The thing here is to get him early, because if he finds the groove, he is a sinker ball pitcher that can go through lineups very, very quickly.
Colin Rea on the other side going for the Padres today, fresh off a win last time out.
Progress, that's the one word that sticks out in my mind when you talk about Colin Rea. We've talked about him gaining 20 pounds. He's got a few more ticks up on the fastball. He's making progress, and what a great way in this rotation to take 2 out of 3. It will just boost his confidence, and you see his numbers respectable. 1-1 record, a 3 ERA, but the strikeouts, 11. Why? Command of the fastball has been very key for the young right-hander.
So it is the Padres and Cardinals for Game 3 of this series, as it is time for USA Military take the field here. And, of course, live from the field at Petco Park, 9 sailors of the USS Theodore Roosevelt on the field here, getting ready for the first pitch. Let's send it down to Michelle Margot.
Thanks, Don. Well, Colin Rea is looking for that second straight victory and a series win. Here's pitching coach Darren Balsley on his progression.
His cup of tea is basically his fastball command, and he hasn't been wild, but he's been a little bit erratic in the strike zone. He's throwing strikes for the most part, but the thing that made us call him up last year was his command. He could put the ball wherever he wanted to. He's gained velocity, about 2 or 3 miles an hour, so it may be a little more difficult for him to put the ball where he wants to right now, but once he gets used to his new velocity, I think he'll be fine.
Andy Green told me that Colin Rea is at his best when he attacks the zone early. Don?
Beautiful day today in San Diego. Thank you, Michelle, as the Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals look to wrap it up here today. A tough night last night for the Padres as it worked out towards the end of last night's game, as the Cardinals came away with an 11-2 victory here last night, as Colin Rea tries to grab the victory here in the final game of the series.
You know, Don, when we talk about that series with the Pittsburgh Pirates, that last game was a blowout, right? But you walk away from the ballpark knowing that you just took 2 out of 3 from the Pittsburgh Pirates. How nice would it be on this Military Sunday, honoring the men and women who serve our great country, to walk away with a series win against these Cardinals, who are a perennial postseason team. I mean, they're always in the mix. So to beat them early in the season, that'd be sweet. 2 out of 3.
And a good way to get this last game of the homestand finished off here before they go on an important road trip that begins, of course, in San Francisco with 3, an off day on Thursday, and then 3 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So staying within the division coming up here for the Padres. Let's take a look at the visiting St. Louis Cardinals starting 9 here today, as the Cardinals. This Cardinals lineup is brought to you by Hyundai. Matt Carpenter leading it off at third base, with Stephen Piscotty in right field batting second. Brandon Moss at first base, back in there again today, playing the day game after the night game. He's at first. Randall Grichuk is in center field with Yadier Molina. They get 344 right now doing the catching, with Jeremy Hazelbaker in left field. Jed Jerko, the former Padre, came up with a big 3-run home run in last night's game. Aledmus Diaz is at shortstop batting 8th, and Mike Lee, the pitcher, bats 9th.
Hey, pretty good lineup for the Cardinals against right-hander Colin Rea. Scouting report for Colin is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. We talked about the velocity. That's a big key. And Darren Balsley said with that velocity, he's got to stay under control so he can locate. And he's gotten stronger. Who doesn't like to get stronger? This kid is still kind of a kid, maturing into his body, and hopefully that bodes well for him.
Defense behind him brought to you by San Diego County Ford dealers. From left to right across the outfield, Melvin Upton Jr. in left. John Jay in center with Matt Kemp in right field. Brent Wallace back at third base. We go third to first with Alexei Ramirez at shortstop. Jamal Weeks at second base. Will Myers has been hot at first base. And Christian Bethancourt catching the day game after the night game for the Padres. And of course, Colin Ray on the mound. Sun-splashed Petco Park here today. It is beautiful.
Does not get any better than this. Military Sunday. I love the blueberries that the team is wearing. I'm sure there's going to be some social sparklers and some fun at the park of the park. It's all good here on a Sunday in San Diego.
It is loaded up out there today. Standing in Matt Carpenter to get it started today. Cardinals exploding for 11 runs in last night's contest. First pitch from Ray as we are underway. Mike Matheny continues to roll right along. You said it. They really have been tremendous, consistent year in and year out. Doesn't matter who's on the roster. They seem to find a way to get to the postseason. And this year is really going to be a challenge. They've already played the Cubs. They've had trouble with the Cubs this year. They've had some trouble out of the gate with Cincinnati as well. And here they are now, 3.5 games back of the Cubs to begin the year. As Carpenter will take that outside, and Ray looking for his first strike of the day, falling behind 3-0.
And we know that Matt Carpenter can set the table with the best of them. He can take a walk. He can work the count. He can fight pitches up. I think he's the prototypical type guy that Matheny wants to try to win this game 3 of the series.
There is a strike. Saw Ray at 92 miles an hour. That's where he will live for the most part. We talked about his fastball command and how important it is for Ray. And last time out, he had it all working to pick up his first win of the year, but a leadoff walk here for Carpenter to get it started. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, Colin Ray, he's got to go 7. We talked about the bullpen, kind of got chewed up a little bit, and that's been the difference in the blowouts in the game, giving up some runs and chewing up some innings. So they capitalize on the early opportunities. In this series, there's been opportunities for San Diego. They just had coming up with that big hit to put a crooked number up there. How about some scoring opportunities early?
Here's Stephen Piscotty, who's had a very good series so far for the Cardinals. Swing to that first pitch. All tip that time. Has him down 0-1. Piscotty with a 3-game hitting streak coming in. He is 4 for 9 so far in the series against the Padres. Quick check on Carpenter, and having to come off the bag to retrieve that was Will Myers.
So you never know, the Redbirds might be aggressive early. A little hit and run with the way Piscotty's swinging the bat. Covers the plate, big hole right side, maybe first and third action. Short lead at first.
Lead on that. Running away from him, and he's quickly down 0-2.
Looked like a little cutter there.
Yeah. Brandon Moss, powerful guy waiting on deck here for the Cardinals as part of their top of the first inning. Center fielder John Jay over towards right center. Somewhat of a gap out there in left center. And he went around. We're going to check, but he did. Yes, he did.
You betcha.
Jordan Baker, first base umpire, rings him up. Piscotty strikes out.
Oh, from the side, the proof is right in front of you. Oh, if he hits it, it's a double.
Let's take a look at the umpiring crew here today. It is Sean Barber in behind the dish. Going to balls and strikes with Jordan Baker just rung up Piscotty at first base. The crew chief, Mike Everett, at second, and Tim Timmons, the umpire, at third.
Well, we got a Barber, a Baker. Now all we need is a candlestick maker.
1 out, 1 on. Brandon Moss stands in, takes ball 1. Boy, you are on fire right out of the gate today. Moss, sometimes all or nothing. Moss with 4 home runs.
Here's another Baker.
Hazel Baker. Part of the attack last night for the Cardinals. Pretty awesome attack last night.
You know what, Don, that last pitch we saw from Colin Ray, I think is a big pitch because a lot of hitters will not offer that pitch that's up and on the inner part of the plate. If he gets that call, look at that last pitch, Honda Fox Tracks, number 2.
Perfect.
Up and in. A lot of guys don't hack at that. If they can get that call, stay in there all day.
On the ground towards first. Myers will go to second base for the out there. Return to first. It's not in time. Close. And a good job by Ray to get over there and to cover. They do get the lead runner in Matt Carpenter for the second out. And I like the footwork by Will Myers, who seems to be getting more adept at making this kind of play from first base.
Hey, getting the ball and then quickly turning towards second base, that glove hand side. See how the glove hand side, he spins that way, creates a lane as well because he's on the inside part of the base paths, and a nice job by Colin Ray playing first baseman, but a lot of time enabling him to get down to first base safely for Brandon Moss.
Watch Will Myers work on the footwork all spring training long, and we're seeing it now during the regular season as he gets more used to where he should be and where to be and where to plant, where to throw.
Don, you and I come out every day. We see him at first base. Glenn Hoffman's hitting them grounders, working on the footwork to where it becomes habit, to where during a game you don't think about it. It just becomes natural.
Randall Grichuk, the center fielder, batting here with Moss at first. Now let's take a look at his strike. Another cutter. We're playing him deep. Jay out in center field, very deep. See numbers for Grichuk coming in, hitting under 200, but he's got good power. 3 home runs on the young season and has played a pretty steady center field defensively. Check on first, and Moss back to the bag. Not much speed for Brandon Moss. Cardinals coming in 9-8, game over 500. Able to win last night's game after the Padres had secured game 1 of this series. That's in the dirt, gets away from Bethancourt, and up to second base goes Moss. Just squirted through there, the 5-hole that time on Bethancourt. By the time he can retrieve it, Moss to second without a problem. So into scoring position goes Moss here in the first inning. Pass ball charged to Bethancourt. Bethancourt doing the catching today, the day game after the night game. Derek Norris normally in behind the dish, of course, for the Padres. Grichuk lines it to left field. Upton will come in and play it on a couple of hops, trying to score is Moss. Here's the throw from Upton. It's up the line, and in is Moss. And the St. Louis Cardinals jump on top 1-0. Well, Upton got himself ready to make the throw, but the throw is a tad up the line, and in is Moss. A 2-out RBI for Grichuk has the Cardinals on top 1-0.
By seeing this play develop right before our eyes, and from our vantage point, you know what? When Melvin Upton Jr., he's starting to get in the lock and low position, and Moss isn't even at third base yet. You really had your hopes up. He kind of yanks it, kind of like a pitcher being a little bit too quick out in front. It's up the first base line. Well, if that's on line, good chance that they do get Moss, but not the case. Trying to leave that runner at first base. Randall Grichuk stranded.
Grichuk at first base, held on over there by Myers. They'll check on him right away. He does have good speed. Yadier Molina hitting at .344. Very little time during spring training after having hand surgery during the offseason. It goes to prove that veteran hitters like himself don't need a lot of at-bats during spring training. Check on Grichuk again. Molina's really been the best hitter for the Cardinals. Interesting that their cleanup hitter in Grichuk hits at .192, but Molina batting fifth, .344. As he can't hold up. The fastball up that time from Ray. I'm not very good at this, picking who should be in the Hall of Fame, who shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but you and I were talking about it the other day. He does what he's been doing for about 3 more years.
3 to 5 years, yeah.
He's a guy.
I think so too. We had that discussion in our pregame show. I'm right there with you.
Pitch outside.
You know, you talk offense, you talk defense. I mean, it's weird too because different generations, different eras. You know, you talk about Johnny Bench. Sure, he could pretty much do it all, but Mike Piazza, newly elected in the Hall of Fame, pretty much all offense.
Right.
I think there's something to be said about Yadier Molina. Not only his numbers, they're not Piazza numbers, but what he does behind the plate as well. And that's documented. You know, the Gold Glove, the Platinum Gloves, the All-Stars. 9 times he's been in the postseason with the Cardinals. It's just, the guy's a captain. The guy's the quarterback.
Extension of the coaching staff. As far as the pitching staff goes, especially. There goes Grichuk at first. Pitch is low for a ball, and the throw is going to sail into center field on Bethancourt. No further advance for Grichuk, but a stolen base And Bethencourt, that throw kind of tailed and ends up in center field.
A little bit too quick with that and working underneath it a little bit, and that tail. Let's check it out. How quick? Pretty quick from the air. Snap throw and ooh. Yeah, when you're playing second base and you come over to second and then you've got to try to redirect the other way, that's tough to do. Doing a little matrix.
Body going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So Grichuk in scoring position now. Cardinals trying to get another 2-out RBI, and Yadier Molina with a swing and a miss. No homers yet for Molina. 8 runs driven in for the Cardinals catcher.
And they've got the outfield with Kemp and Jay swung over towards the right field line because Molina does like to go that way, especially the fastballs away.
That's away, and it misses for ball 3. The Cardinals getting the game's first run here so far in the first, looking for more. Molina here in a battle with a full count. Fights that one off foul. The fastball biting in on him.
That one got into the kitchen big time after about 5 pitches in. It leaks into the fist of Molina. He was just asking home plate umpire Sean Barber, hey, if I would have taken that, would that have been a strike? It looked like it would have been a ball. It had so much movement on it. Actually would have been a strike according to Fox Tracks.
Payoff pitch, and Molina with an emergency swing there. Fouls it back. Another fastball, that one running away at 93. So Colin Ray right now working the inside portion and the outside portion with the fastball. Hazelbaker waiting on deck. A home run last night, now 4 on the season. Big gap out in left center field for Yadier Molina, who lines one to left field for a base hit. Upton is up and throwing again. Grichuk coming plate where the throw is up the line, and the Cardinals take a 2-0 lead. So 2-out RBIs in this first inning for St. Louis, and twice Evan Upton Jr.'s throw has been off the mark, and St. Louis on top 2-0.
That's a battle for Yadier Molina. We saw him hold up his swing, pitches just off the plate. We saw him foul off some pitches until he got one that he liked. Almost a carbon copy of what happened when Brandon Moss came around to score. Once again, kind of yanking it to the first base side to Bethencourt. Sliding towards the foul side of home plate just in case that throw is anywhere near the plate. And he slaps home plate for the second run for the Redbirds.
Darren Balsley made a quick visit out to talk to Ray and settle him down, about to face the 6th batter of the inning with Jeremy Hazelbaker coming up here now for the Cardinals. Molina at first base with the RBI single that has given St. Louis a 2-0 advantage.
Boy, being down by 2 stinks playing catch up, but especially in the first inning. Your starting pitcher is out there. We documented that Colin Ray needs to go deep into this game. The pitch count continues to go up. Next toss will be number 25 for Colin.
95 pitches last time out for him, as that'll get in there for a strike, and he jumps ahead here 0-2.
I've already noticed Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, he's giving that inside strike.
Gotta like that if you're a pitcher.
Gotta like that. Every umpire, you know, they have their comfort zone too. It's where they see a pitch and they'll ring you on the called strike.
Were you aware of every umpire's
Yes.
strike zone? You were one of those guys?
Bob Davidson comes to mind. He was a guy to where if you could locate that 2-seamer off the plate, I'm talking 2, maybe 3 balls with, he would get in that mode that he would ring guys. So go right back out there.
You know it's there every time for you.
Yeah. Eric Gregg, you can throw it in the other on-deck circle.
Yeah.
He's ringing you up.
1-2 is going to miss. Hazelbaker, part of the attack last night for the Cardinals. We were talking about their home runs. This was his 4th of the season. That's a right center field.
That was an off-speed pitch that sped up his bat. It was right down the middle, and that spelled trouble.
Pops it up foul, out of play.
So you take that pitch he hit for the home run, and I'll bet you that if he buries fastballs in, he will not be able to square that pitch up.
And today's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. His home run last night, one of the 7 pinch hit home runs for the Cardinals, the most by far. Major League leaders. Cardinals, they can hit some home runs now.
Pinch man must be dreaming.
To center, right at John Jay. He'll put it away. 2 runs in the top of the first inning for the Cardinals. The Padres are coming up. Presents Padres Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. By Petco, your complete pet store. By California Center for Sustainable Energy. It's easy to stay golden at energyupgradeca.org. And by USAA, official military appreciation partner of the San Diego Padres.
It never gets old, Don Orsillo. Military Sundays. And you know what? The players get a kick out of it just as much as the military personnel on the field when they go out there and shake hands. It's a joy. It's a magical moment for both parties involved.
Admiration from the players to those servicemen and women on the field prior to the game. John Jay leading it off here in the bottom of the first inning. He'll slap it foul. I really like the Blueberries.
I love them.
Awesome.
They are, aren't they? Good luck. We already see some fans with some Blueberries as well.
I got the dry fit the other day.
Did you get the Quad X? They make them in quadruple X?
I got the 3X because I like it
and
roomy.
It's still kind of tight.
Yeah, like a sausage.
The casing? The casing stretching a little bit?
1-2 is slap foul back to the screen. And Sean Jay was my
pick the stick
today because he's seen him a lot.
Yeah.
Mike Leake over the years, and I think there's something to that. You see a guy that much.
I think so too, and in the division too, right?
Right.
Cardinals, Reds.
Yes. Flips it out to center field. Grichuk is there waiting. There's one away. We have seen John Jay. Let's check out the rest of the Padres lineup. It's brought to you by Toyota. Jay is in center with Will Myers at first base. Matt Kemp in right field. Melvin Upton Jr. in left in the cleanup spot. Brett Wallace at third base. Alexei Ramirez at shortstop. With Jamal Weeks at second base. Christian Bethancourt does the catching, batting eighth, and Colin Ray rounds out the starting 9 for the Padres. One out for Will Myers. Leake 0-2, really kind of a surprise to begin the year, signing a new 5-year deal with the St. Louis Cardinals, a 28-year-old veteran.
I think they've got themselves a good one, quite honestly. It's early. We went over the numbers before the game started. It's all about getting in the groove. for that sinker ball pitcher, like any sinker ball pitcher. You look over the course of time and history, they got a bad start. Why? The release point's off. It's not sinking. But come summertime, as the summer heats up, so do they.
Myers been heating up. He's got an 8-game hitting streak heading into this contest today.
You know, Will's been working some nice counts too. Look at 2-1.
Yep.
He knows that Leake has to come to him here. They're bunching the right center field gap as well.
It's amazing how when you're going good, you get yourself in good hitters counts a lot. And that's what Myers has been doing and stinging the baseball over the last week. Matt Kemp waiting on deck here. Padres batting in the last of the first. Good take by Myers. Let's see where Myers' hits go.
Yeah, see? Heavy from left center to right center. As our own Mark Sweeney says, using the big part of the diamond. Hey, there'll be times when the soft breaking ball, he'll pull to left. And the heater's away, he'll take to right.
Nice at bat there, where it's a 1-out walk.
On the scouting report for the Cardinals right-hander Mike Leake, it's brought to you by Scripps. Great athlete, this kid, Mike Leake. He can hit too. Hey, just because he's the pitcher and he's batting ninth, he just can't lay it in there. And he hits his spots when he's throwing the ball extremely well. And something that's very uncommon, he looks like he should be an emergency pitcher out there. We're in number 8. It's like a blowout. It's 18-0, and they got to bring in a shortstop to pitch. He wears the number 8. You don't see the single digits that often.
Not that often. He was San Diego born. Attended Fallbrook Union High School, just 52 miles north of Petco Park. Here's Matt Kemp.
See, when he too seems that ball away like that, and he finds that groove, yeah. That's why you got to get to him early.
The numbers for Kemp: 5 round trippers on the year to go along with the 13 RBIs. Long pause for Leake here, and finally comes to the plate as fouled off into what is a very big crowd here today on this Military Sunday from Petco Park. A beautiful day again in San Diego, and a great crowd with us this afternoon. How great is it out there?
Oh, so much fun. We got the San Diego Beach as well, and we have the Marine recruits out there in upper right field. Upper tank.
Kemp to right center field. Grichuk will have room. Actually, it'll be Piscotty who has room in right. It comes over to make the catch for the second out. Let's take a look at the Cardinals defensively from left to right across the outfield. Jeremy Hazelbaker in left. Randall Grichuk in center. Stephen Piscotty in right. Matt Carpenter at third base. Ledmus Diaz at short. Jed Jerko at second. Brandon Moss at first, and Yadier Molina doing the catching for Mike Leake. 2 down here in the first, and it brings up Melvin Upton Jr. In the air to shallow right. Out goes Jerko. Piscotty coming in, but it'll be Jed Jerko makes the catch basket style to end the inning. Padres retire, done with 1. Cardinals on top by 2.
nothing heading into the top of the second. Well, I was speaking earlier with Cardinals manager Mike Matheny about new manager Andy Green, and he said Green has earned his way here. He's happy for him to have this opportunity. He did a great job through the minor leagues as a player, and he said Andy Green was the kind of guy people saw early on as having a chance to be a guy in the dugout. So some kind words from Mike Matheny, guys.
All right, Michelle, thanks very much. Well, Jedd Gyorko continues to swing a hot bat, a base hit here in his first AB of the day, out to left field after he homered here last night. He's got to have a little extra incentive anytime you play your old club. I'm sure it's different.
He does, and you know what? That's natural.
Sure.
Speaking from experience, you want to stick it to the team that traded you. It's just human nature.
Well, Gyorko, of course, on the John Jay deal is Aledmys Diaz bats. You surprised by some of the boos he got last night? I mean, he was traded. He didn't choose to leave.
I was, and that's a great talking point. And if I were to write a book on the rules of booing,
fan etiquette.
Hey, you're a fan. I appreciate your passion in whatever you choose to do. You know, you keep it clean, you have some fun with it, whatever. But when a guy's traded,
yeah, it's not like he chose to leave your city.
Yeah, it doesn't really deserve to be booed. Hey, this guy's been a thorn in the saddle against the Padres. Aledmys Diaz, 6 for 6. Are you kidding me? 2 doubles. He's driven in 2 this series against the Padres. How will they pitch to this thorn in the saddle?
He's good.
He is good.
And I think they're excited about him. I mean, they had tried a bunch of people after Peralta goes down at shortstop. They are so happy that Diaz all of a sudden has done what he has done on a daily basis. Framed there by Bethancourt for Sean Barber, home plate umpire, but he wasn't biting. Ray now falls behind 2-1.
I'm wondering what type of result that he'll get. That's Diaz with a good fastball down and away. A lot of hitters have difficulty. Like that pitch there. That's a strike. Not too many guys can do damage with that pitch.
The last 3 games, 7 for 9 is Diaz.
Those are beer league numbers.
6 for 6 here in the series. Framed again by Bethancourt, a little bit outside that time.
Hey, don't shut your toolbox when Leake gets up there too, right? We mentioned good athlete can swing the bat.
That's the thing. You're not really pitching around Diaz to get to lead.
Right. We'll cut her down and away here.
Runner goes and grounder foul. That time Gyorko taken off for second base. Great touch for 2 hits in the first inning and 2 runs. A leadoff single by Jedd Gyorko. Start the second inning for St. Louis. Payoff pitch again from Colin Ray. Again, Gyorko's off as a grounder up the middle. To the backhand goes Weeks with a long throw that's going to be wild. Ends up off the facing of the short wall.
That was a really weird play because the way they were playing, that Jamal Weeks had to get to that ball because Alexei Ramirez was so far over to the left. As we take another look, Ramirez actually goes behind Jamal Weeks on that one. Just the whole development of that play, really, really strange.
So a hit and an error on the play. Allowing Gyorko to get to third base, the miscue part of it on the throw. And it is first and third with nobody out here for the Cardinals. And now you got Mike Leake, the pitcher, batting here for the first time today. They are charging from the corners, expecting bunt, but he swings away and pops it up. It's got Weeks backpedaling to short right, and he'll handle the first out. So swinging away, and Leake is out number 1.
You know, going back to that infield play, Don, as we take a look at that, Ramirez and Weeks, it's almost like a communication between the outfielders. Hey, you got it, I take it. I didn't see any communication, but once again, Ramirez was playing over to the left, And it seemed like even if Alexei got to that ball, I don't know if he would have had really a play at first base.
It looked like Weeks was thinking along those lines, like he was not going to have a chance. He was going to be the only one who was going to be able to get there, so he took off. And
sometimes the best play is not to try to make the play, right? Keep those runners at first and second.
Second time through now for Colin Ray. This one's fouled off to the left by Matt Carpenter. His second look at Ray, walked in the first inning. Tough start today so far for Ray. First and third with one out. Quiet this Cardinals offense, but they got it going late in the game last night, scoring 11 runs. Off to the fast start today. Carpenter couldn't hold up. Fastball up and he goes around.
There's certain guys throughout Major League Baseball history that I like to label as a pest. Matt Carpenter
is that guy.
Falls under that category. You know who was a pest back in the day when I was playing? Brett Butler.
Brett Butler.
Prototypical leadoff guy. He could take a pitch 3 inches off the plate and flick it foul to where you'd have to bring it in a little bit more. Next thing you know, he'd stand on second base with a double. He used to tick me off.
Carpenter will take it outside. Former Padre David Eckstein. What do you think about that?
Pest.
Same type.
Smart players, if you think about it, too, right? Those three we just mentioned.
Jerko at third base. Diaz at first base. One out in the Cardinals' second inning. Runner goes at first. A swing and a miss. Throw from Bethancourt is going to be not in time. And Alexei Ramirez wants to check this out. He wants Andy Green to challenge this. We'll see. Mark McGwire finding out whether or not the Padres will.
Well, it's a nice pick by Alexei because this ball is on the short hop from Bethancourt. Well, I love the Phantom can. Okay, in the glove. Slap it down there, Alexei. Does he get the glove on the foot? Does he get the glove on the foot before he...
I think he may be safe.
Yeah.
So do the Padres. They do not challenge. So a stolen base for Diaz. Strikeout though for Ray, picks up his second, getting Carpenter. And now Stephen Piscotty struck out in the first inning.
We got to really battle here. There is a base open, but you got a lefty Moss on deck. It's not going to be easy.
5 for 11 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position for Piscotty. Check swing grounder that it's heads toward Myers, and Myers will take it to the bag himself as Ray gets out of the jam, works his way around 2 hits. It's 2-0 St. Louis. Go to the Padres. We head to the last half of the second inning. Lowest whiff rate. Mike Leake, a lot of contact.
Yeah, and that's an interesting little nugget right there because sinker ball pitchers generally don't blow hitters away. They put the ball in play.
Brett Wallace, Alexei Ramirez, Jamal Weeks, the anticipated trio in the inning.
So the key is when you don't have a high whiff rate and you're missing in location, like that's why you see the numbers of Mike Leake. He's got to get that release point down, get that two-seamer working. So the balls in play are hitting out in front of home plate on that dirt rather than line drives splitting the gaps.
All of his outs so far via the air. Mike Leake doesn't want that.
He's not a fly ball pitcher. That's a good call. Right.
Jay fly out, Kemp fly out, Upton Jr. pop out. So the walk mixed in there too.
Pitches are up.
Strike three call. Able to get Brett Wallace frozen. First strikeout of the day for Mike Leake. Just talking about how he doesn't whiff people and then he strikes out Brett Wallace.
That's the two-seamer, and then it comes back to the lefty on that inside corner of the plate. Nasty pitch. Yeah, it'll freeze lefties. And you can see that's a great view. Why? Because it's below the belt, upper thigh high, right on the inside corner.
So one down here in the second inning, Alexei Ramirez. .215 average for Ramirez coming into today's action. And on the ground and through into left field, a base hit for Alexei. First hit of the day for the Padres.
And there goes the no-hitter.
Got out of it right out of the way here in the second inning.
Usually when a hitter hits a ground ball, it's like, okay, but this is a sharply hit ground ball, 5.5 hole.
934 career singles since 2008.
Making it rain with the singles, nice.
Surprising part of that, Alexei's got a lot of power.
Yeah, he does.
As Jamal Weeks stands in.
He can run into one.
Yeah. Weeks back at second base again. Corey Spangenberg still on the DL for the Padres. And that DL list is growing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 8 guys now on the DL for the Padres.
It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And I know all teams go through it. We all know that. But, man, when you lose a guy like Tyson Ross and speed of Spangenberg and Solarte who can swing it.
To right center field, and that's going to get in for a base hit. Ramirez headed first to third as Piscotty gets it back in, and the Padres have something going here in the second inning.
Don, you mentioned it, the fly balls, right? Look at this pitch here. That's a two-seamer up. And I tell you, when you talk to Alan Zinter, the hitting coach, that's the main objective. Alexei sees the play right in front of him. Oh, I love first and third action.
At the corners with one down. Christian Bethancourt coming up here for the Padres. Those in scoring position has been a problem for San Diego. 0 for 8 in the series, and a chance here to do some damage for Bethancourt.
You love the 3-run shot?
I do.
Oh, big fan.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
More than the 2-run home run.
Yeah, huh?
But if you're a pitcher, you probably enjoy the solo home run.
Yeah.
Bethancourt, right after that first pitch, got a good pitch to hit. Might be the best he sees in the at-bat. A lot of playing time for Bethancourt, of course, with Derek Norris doing the bulk of the catching.
Well, if you're counting at home, the Padres have 3-run homers this year. That was a good time for the fourth.
Bethancourt does not have a home run so far this season. High toss over to first that had Moss have to show little ups.
Well, I know this rule has been incorporated for a couple years now, but remember, no fake the third, throw to first.
I miss it so much. You know why? Because it's one of my favorite catchphrases. A look to third, a look to first doesn't throw to either venue. I love that, and now I can't even use it.
That is a good one.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And then if it happened a second time, I would say a look to third, a look to first doesn't throw to either locale. And then I'm out. If it happens a third time, I got nothing else.
Well, they can see it, so you don't have to say anything.
I know, but that's it. But I had smack for twice, and now it never happens. It's gone.
Got to throw. It's got to be a planned play, and the third baseman has to go over to third.
Why did it have to go away?
I don't know. I think it's a legitimate play that still should be in the rule book. That's legal.
First and third, one out. Bethancourt here. Swings and lifts a fly ball to right field. Piscotty settling underneath, getting himself ready, makes the catch. Here comes Alexei Ramirez. Here comes the throw. It's up the line, and he's in safely. Padres on the board as Molina tried the swipe tag on the way by. Couldn't make contact, and a sac fly for Bethancourt gets San Diego on the board. RBI number 2 of the year for Bethancourt.
And I was just going to say, Don, that it's not a base hit RBI, but it's a sac fly. Why? Because it's another pitch up, and Bethancourt does a nice job of going the opposite way, up the line. And does he whiff? He does, clearly.
Yes. So 2 down. Jamal Weeks still at first base, held on by Moss. And the pitcher, Colin Ray, the batter. Ray 0 for 4 so far at the plate as he takes strike 1. Career 154 hitter is Colin Ray.
Hey, I was watching BP the other day. Colin Ray. You know where he was going?
Oppo?
Upper Tank Western Metal, yo. Yes.
That's an impressive shot. You get up on top of the Western Metal Supply Company.
Dude, he was going right up there.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are the palm trees new? Because I don't remember them last
I think they are. They planted the seed like 2 nights ago, and look at them.
Unbelievable.
Palm trees on steroids.
Chop foul outside of third.
That's a good look, isn't it? That's a beautiful look up there. This whole ballpark, I mean, my goodness. We did a game from up there once.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it hard?
You know, it was different, but it was fun just to interact with the fans and get that perspective from way up top there. I love that San Diego beach.
I was going to say.
I just absolutely think that's the best thing going.
Swing and a miss for Ray. Chases and strikes out, but the Padres are on the board. They grab a run. It's 2-1 St. Louis. We're through 2.
Cardinals lead 2-1 heading into top of the third, and I'm now joined by Captain Craig Clapperton of the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me here. It's great to be here today. What an opportunity.
What do you think of what the Padres do for the military?
Well, you know, it's really incredible what the Padres do for the military and to support the Navy here in San Diego. They've been doing this for over 2 decades. We were thrilled with the welcome we had by San Diego, and especially the Padres organization, rolling out their new uniforms on our ship and then having us here today. And this is an ongoing process with the Padres. This is just simply one more step of the great things they do for the military every year. We're thrilled to be a part of it. They're an amazing organization.
You and your crew just returned from a 9-month combat deployment to the Arabian Gulf. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I sure can. Yeah, it was an amazing deployment around the world, so we did a little bit of everything. The sailors performed fantastic in every AOR that they operated in. Over 6 months of combat operations in the Arabian Gulf, flying combat missions over northern Iraq and Syria, delivering over 1 million pounds of ordnance, operating really at the edge of human performance. Heat indexes of 150, 160 degrees Fahrenheit. These guys were working 16 to 18 hours a day in that kind of environment. They did an amazing job. And then they brought it home to San Diego and completed the Navy's historic 3-carrier hull swap when they got back home. So it was really an amazing deployment.
Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been a blast. And again, thanks for the great welcome, and thanks for having us here today.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Michelle, thanks very much. Well, what a play by Alexei Ramirez with the shift on. He was the only guy on the left side of the infield. He had to go a long way to get this.
That is a long run. See where he's stationed? Oh, beautiful. And Brandon Moss is like, really? Hang with him.
One down here in the third inning as Grichuk stands in for the second time. Had an RBI single in the first inning. Well, prior to the game here, as part of Military Sunday, the Padres saluting the USS Theodore Roosevelt.
Look at the webbing of the glove.
Ooh. That's a snow cone.
Hey, did you see that the other day? Where was it? The ball went right through the glove, the webbing of the third baseman. Was it Josh Donalds?
I didn't see it.
It was unbelievable. It was a hot smash.
Right through.
In slow motion, right in the webbing, right through the webbing.
Gone. He's going to work on there to secure some of that pocket area.
Hey, Spencer Dolan's got to get that glove and start tightening up that leather.
You're blaming Spencer for this?
Why not?
1-2 has popped up. Back comes Bethancourt. Does he have a play? He does, and he makes it. 2 down. So 2 foul outs here for the first 2 outs at the top of the third inning. Nice play by Bethancourt. Good concentration. Get back to the screen. So anyway, as I was saying, USS Theodore Roosevelt saluted here today. Sailors were on the bases from the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Re-enlisted oath of someone. That was cool. Did you hear the oath?
That was very, very cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
On the field before the game. Color guard also from the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Nadir Molina takes strike 1.
I had a chance to MC that event when they introduced the blueberries on the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Unbelievable experience. The deck, it's 4.5 acres.
That's unbelievable.
We talk hot zones.
Sure.
Where do guys like it? Right down the middle, 333. But he likes to get on top of the ball, too. Down the middle and up, 667. Like that pitch there. That kind of leaked in a little bit. So with that last pitch, let's do this. That last pitch, right? It leaked up and in. So if we go to the hot zone, he only hits 250 there. But if that pitch was a little bit more over the heart of the plate, he might have done some damage at 667.
I would say, based on what I see, I would stay away from a low pitch at 455.
Yeah, likes to drop that head of the bat.
And Molina already with a base hit in this game. Single to left in the first inning to drive in a run. His 9th RBI. Look at this lineup, and he is really the one guy you want to be careful with. Cardinals have good hitters, but I'm talking about Yadier Molina off to a 344 start. With the first 2 outs here, the third could use a quick inning. Minimal pitches. Didn't miss by a lot, and it is inside. Jeremy Hazelbaker waits on deck for the Cardinals as they bat here in the visiting half of the third inning.
Cuteness. Kids enjoying a day at the ball yard? You betcha.
There's ball 4. Second walk allowed by Colin Ray. This one comes with 2 outs.
I remember in the minor leagues, Clinton, Iowa, 1982. 2-out walk cost you $5. And believe me, $5 was a lot of money.
1982?
82.
2 down here in the third. Molina at first base.
My point is, nobody likes the 2-out walk.
Who got that cash? Your pitching coach?
Pitching
Where
coach.
did that money go?
We went into a kitty, and then at the end of the year, we had a pitcher's party at the local pizza parlor. Yeah.
2 down in the inning. Molina at first. Hazelbaker gets his second look at Ray, but first a toss over to first base. Say A-ball? Is that Clinton?
A-ball, Clinton, Iowa, Midwest League, Giants affiliate.
I've never been to Iowa.
It's the place to grow.
You grew there?
That's like their
that's
state
for real?
motto, yeah,
Oh, I
like
thought you were just
corn and all that stuff.
fouled off to the left, out of play. How many years in the minors?
You know what? 8 more through the course of my career, more years in the minors than at the big league level.
Really?
Yes, 8 years in the minors and just under 7 in the big leagues. So I appreciate the big league life, the big league experience.
On the ground, softly hit, Jamal Weeks to end the inning. So Ray works his way around a walk. The Cardinals have a 2-1 lead. Military Sunday and a beautiful day here in San Diego. What's new? It is beautiful here every day, and the fans settling in here for a beautiful day of baseball and a large crowd on hand here at Petco Park. Top of the order for the Padres, leading it off, John Jay. Jay flying out to center field in the first inning. Padres getting a run in the second inning. This one cued foul. Don Orsillo, Mark Grant. How are you, bud?
Good. You know what the Padres need? Some shillelaghs going.
Yeah.
Got to get the clubbers.
Some offense.
Hot. Right.
Early.
Clubbers unite. He's been getting the pitches up.
Little number foul. So it's you and me for the next 14 days. Did you know that?
Yes.
14 in a row. As we have the Giants coming up for 3.
And you know what? A road trip within the division, we know that the Giants can be a pain. Of course, the Dodgers, what they've got going. So this is going to be a good test for San Diego and the pitching staff. But also, you know, this team also, it's been, would it be fair to say, Don, that it's been kind of a roller coaster ride?
Yes.
I mean, that's
not very consistent.
Right.
I mean, you got excited with the offense in Colorado. Those 2 games with 29 runs in 2 games. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it went away again.
You know, I've gotten to know you a little bit spring training, and I like the combo here. The pocket square is very nice.
Thank you.
To match the blue shirt.
Thanks. I'll tell you a little secret about the pocket square. As there is strike 3. John Jay is gone for the first out of the 3rd inning. I didn't have a pocket square today, and as you know, Mark Sweeney and Mark Grant all have pocket squares. Dick Enberg always has a pocket square.
There's that two-seam high fastball right at the belt buckle. He gave up on it, kind of straightened him up a little bit. He got the strike. He's getting a lot of pitches up still.
My pocket square is not real. I'm going to go out there and tell you
it's not real?
It's not real. It is a trash bag. Recycling trash bag that they made into a pocket square because they felt bad for me. It's not real.
The trash bags here at Petco have that like
so
blue,
good.
and then it just kind of ripped one up a little bit. And
so thank you, you guys, taking care of me. I didn't have a pocket square.
you kind of fluffy there too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
How awesome
Trash
is
bag.
that?
Myers fouls it off. Walked his first time up. So thanks for taking care of me. Right out of the gate. You guys have been great. One walk so far for Leake, and Myers has got it. And that's now.
He's going to throw strikes, but it's the movement on those pitches. It's tough to square up. Look at that. He will dice and slice. Two-seamer, slider away, cutter away. And we talk about the hot zone. Where does he like it? Yeah, he likes to go the middle. 333, 375, 385. Down and in 300 isn't bad as well. Did you see that? Like the drop that head, almost like a left-handed hitter likes to hit that ball down and in. Will Myers from the right side likes it down and in as well.
That's down and away, and he doesn't chase. Evens account at 2-2. An average up over 300 at 301 to start the day. Right back where he came from.
Hockey suit
into center field as Leake had to jump out of the way. That's a 9-game hitting streak now for Will Myers.
Well, he just looks so comfortable at the plate. He is quick to the baseball. You know, this is a big boy right here. And that, look at the barrel of the bat, how it's going, it's staying in that swing path and squaring it up and keeping his head down as well on that baseball, on that pitch. Oh, that's some kind of nice.
So 1 out, Myers at first base, and brings up Matt Kemp. Kemp flied out to the right fielder Stephen Piscotty in the first inning. Check on Myers, had some fancy footwork to get back, crossing over to the bag and almost overran it.
You know what you have to be careful these days with the challenge rule? You know when guys go back to the bag and they do that little pivot?
Yes.
That's why first basemen have to keep the glove on the runner, because that foot has a tendency sometimes to come off that bag.
If I'm not mistaken, it happened to Myers. He switched feet, remember? Played
That's
first
right.
base.
That's right.
And the tag was on him.
Yeah, Mark Sweeney was working that night. So you got to be careful.
The Mark Sweeney you speak of will be coming up.
Yeah, I love that. I love having Mark Sweeney in here with us.
Kemp batting with 1 out, a runner on. Short lead at first for Myers, held on over there by Brandon Moss.
You know what else I've noticed from these Padre hitters, and we can talk to Mark Sweeney about it when he joins us, but with a sinker ball pitcher like that, if you and these guys have such keen eye, you know, that if it's low and it's a two-seamer, they let it go because it's out of the zone. If it's low, let it go. If it's up, no, if it's high, let it fly. That's what the phrase is.
This flies towards left center field. Hazelbaker going back, going to be over his head, and 1 hop up into the stands. A ground rule double for Matt Kemp to left field, and it's second and third, and that one actually kind of works against the Padres in some ways. That stays in the yard. Myers probably scores to tie this game, but as it is, it's second and third with 1 down.
That happened yesterday.
Same thing.
First inning. Will Myers first base. Kemp doubles to right center field. It bounces over. Will is brought back to third base.
Second and third, 1 out. And Melvin Upton Jr. Chance here to do some damage. Popped out to Jed Jerko. First time up, back in the first inning. On the ground left side, Diaz to the backhand. The run will score as he throws to first for the out. Myers in the back door from third, ties this game 2-2. RBI number 7 for Upton on the year.
Well, they're playing back Mike Leake, a ground ball pitcher, and if he gets it down, he's going to get that grounder. So the Cardinals will gladly take that out, give up a run. Still plenty of baseball left, knotted up at 2.
Kemp in scoring position at second, and Brett Wallace a batter. Wallace struck out looking in the second inning. One of 3 strikeouts so far for Leake. And Colin Ray can feel good as the 2-run deficit has been erased. Padres have tied it up. New game, 2-2. Kemp will try to unbreak the tie. And the shift on the right side are the Cardinals on Wallace. Just missing off the outside edge, maybe a little low. There is the stack him up shift on the right side. Outfield playing for Wallace to go the other way. Chris Schick, the center fielder, stepping towards left center. Kind of different. It's going to be in the infield. It's going to be pulled. Maybe the outfield, it's the other way.
And I think one of the reasons being, if Leake throws that 2-seamer away, it's going to be difficult for Wallace to hook that ball in the outfield, and that's why you see them shading that way a little bit.
Wallace on the ground and diving at second as Jerko gets up his throws in time. Jed Jerko laying it out there in short right field, getting the job done. But the Padres do come away with a run and tie this game 2-2. The former Padre Jed Jerko with a final out.
We're going to focus on the fastball location of Colin Ray. Progress, that's what he's been doing since at the big league level. It started last year. Look at the left-handers moving their feet, but with the strike inside, how about away? Both sides of the plate for Colin Ray. He's working a little cutter today. He mixes in the curveball and the changeup as well. And thanks to his offense and his teammates, we're knotted up at 2.
Colin Ray dealing with the bottom third of the Cardinals' order here in the 4th inning. Jed Jerko made a very nice defensive play to end last inning. Now leading it off and with us, Mark Sweeney.
How you doing, guys?
All right, how are you?
Good, excellent. First time, 3 of us.
This is weird for me because I worked with both of you, alone, but never together.
How about this? Who looks out of place here?
Huh? 3 wide. How about me with the jacket on? What's going on?
You got way too much hair in here.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. They threatened as part of an initiation of spring training to clip it all off so that I would be bald too.
Everyone's got to go through initiation.
Wow. It made me very nervous because I thought you guys were serious.
Have you ever done that? Low crop?
No. I'm afraid it wouldn't come back if I did.
No, you got a great dome.
You got the first and third delayed steel working up here.
No, the power alleys right now are strong. There's a power alley area that's coming up through here that is taking over.
Are they going to bring in the fences?
Are they going? So, Mark Grant is bald, right?
I think so.
Mark Sweeney clearly bald.
Yes.
This is in the air to right field, hit well. Kemp going back onto the warning track. He's not going to get it. It ricochets off the wall by him. Jerko is headed for three. He's thinking in that direction. He's going to get there without a problem. And he gets there standing, as it turns out. Tough ricochet off the wall. And how about this series and the return of Jedd Gyorko to Petco Park?
We see Jedd Gyorko, and obviously the confidence has spiked. Last night, swinging the bat very well, but if you take a look at the location of the pitch, elevated just a little bit, but having the effort to go the other way. We've seen Jedd Gyorko in a Padre uniform. When he focuses that right center approach, it comes into play, and a tough play for Matt Kemp at the wall.
Mark, remember we were hearing about Jedd Gyorko all those years in the minor leagues as a Padre farmhand? The book on him was, and I've talked to scouts about, that's when he was at his best.
Yes.
Wearing out right center field and right field like we just saw right there.
Yeah, he got into pull mode a lot in a Padre uniform, and we saw it. You've said it on the broadcast, Mark, that he was exposed to that breaking ball down and away. And how you combat that is having that approach, going the other way, and he looks very comfortable in the batter's box.
Ledmus Diaz, who's been red hot, 7 for 7 in the series, had an infield hit. First time up in the second inning. And his second look at Colin Ray, and he sends it out to right. Kemp coming in, will make the catch. Gyorko going to bluff, draws the throw, and is not going to take off. He remains at third base with now one down.
He ain't going anywhere. He's gassed from the triple. Matt Kemp usually pretty good as far as coming in on the baseball, making a good throw towards home plate. Let's take a look. Gyorko back to the bag. Kemp charging, coming up, firing. And a nice job by Bethancourt leaving his position to get in front of that on the short hop so he doesn't have to play it on the big hop.
Well, the defensive metrics don't favor Matt Kemp, but he makes it up with that strong arm in right field.
Infield in all the way around here for the Padres with Mike Leake, who can swing the bat. Popped out to Jamal Weeks at second. First time up. Most career home runs by a pitcher. He's got 6 of them. Gallardo and Bumgarner each with 12. Breaking ball in there for the strike.
Good yacker. You're pitching to this guy like he's a number 6 hitter.
Yeah.
And the infield in all the way around with Gyorko at third base.
Colin Ray's got the good cut fastball working today.
And that's a good one. We saw it last night with Cesar Vargas throwing that cutter. Just gets off the barrel of the bat.
Foul back to the screen.
Speaking of Vargas, guys, your impressions. I liked what I saw.
Yeah. He looked like he had great points. He didn't look like he was making his major league debut.
Not rattled at all.
Yeah, I think he had a couple defensive plays early in the game that really settled him. And yes, his mound presence that we talked about on this post-game show. There's Vargas right there. Very comfortable, very calm, and emotionally taxing day for him in the major leagues.
How about this? Lined into center field for Leake. Helps out his own cause, and the Cardinals regain the lead again. On top 3-2 as Gyorko comes in from third.
Well, as I mentioned, Mike Leake, great athlete. He's like pitching to a number 5, number 6 hitter. Anytime you hang a breaking ball, yeah, in this position, you don't have to hit it on the sweet spot down by the label. He fights it off. And Mark Sweeney does a nice job of getting his hands in, trying to get that good part of the bat in, but that's a good-looking swing for the Cardinal pitcher.
Well, he's calm in the batter's box. That gives him an opportunity, especially his hands. But for Colin Ray, I think he wanted to bury that curveball. He elevated just enough.
Matt Carpenter has walked and struck out the top of the Cardinals order. Pitch count getting up there for Ray as he's gone 3 1/3 and already at 75 pitches for the right-handed starter. To left. Upton started back. Now he'll come in. Glasses on. Takes care of out number 2. Ray able to battle back and get Carpenter, and now he's going to deal with Stephen Piscotty. Mentioned the pitch count for Colin Ray. 94 the outing before last at Philadelphia. 95 last time out against Pittsburgh. That was 5 innings. The longest he's gone in an outing is 7 innings. That was in Philadelphia in his finest outing of the year. 1 earned run in 7 innings.
Well, Mark, with those pitch counts, how can Colin Ray be a little more efficient in your estimation?
With the cutter, be a little bit more command friendly on the outside part of the plate, because these hitters are so good. They're kind of laying off it a little bit. And of course, strike one is always good too, because it puts the hitter in the defensive. But if you could throw the cutter for a good strike, quality strike, and then entice them to swing at the cutter just off the plate a little bit. But I think number 1, strike one with all of your pitches. I mean, Mark, you say it all the time. This is what I love learning from you about eliminating a pitch. Well, think about it. If a pitcher early can throw all of his pitches for early strike, you got him eating right out of your hand.
There's too many thoughts in a hitter's mind that really comes into play.
So that's how you combat that scenario, to go deep into a game.
You mentioned off the top, Mark, Grant, that he needed to go deep into this game, and bullpen a little bit of time off here.
Yeah, the next off day is Thursday in Los Angeles. So after this one, 3 in San Francisco. See, like that pitch there. These hitters are good enough to where they can recognize that. But pitch number 3, yeah, it looks close, but you know what? These hitters can recognize that.
Yeah.
If that's a little bit, and that just goes to show you an inch or 2 or 3 that makes the difference.
Yeah, when you talk command, it's the easy takes from the hitters, and they'll indicate that. See the calmness in the batter's box. But right there, the movement, you see him running in. Everything's away, and then the number 4 pitch coming in on the hands, and you get that check swing because it's uncomfortable. Their sights are out, out over the plate, because that's where Colin Ray has been comfortable today.
Mike Leake at first base, held on by Myers with 2 outs in the inning. Piscotty with a swing and a miss, and Ray able to strike him out to end the inning. A run for the Cardinals. St. Louis back on top, 3-2. Have retaken the lead here, 3-2 over the San Diego Padres. On to the bottom of the 4th inning. When we talk about the Cardinals, you're talking about a young outfield and all producing pretty well.
think about all three of these guys, and very talented, but still looking for that consistency in the game of baseball. And when you think of youth, they've already put up some good numbers. They've had some good stretches. I think on that list, talk to some of the Cardinals personnel, and they're raving over Stephen Piscotty, who just went down that last inning with the changeup.
Think about it. Double play combinations that have been around for a long time. Can you imagine an outfield like that, still young, to where they're hoping they're going to be there for a long, long time? That's special to have for an organization.
Matt Holliday off today, appeared in the first 2 games of the series. Alexei Ramirez batting out of the 6th spot for the Padres today, singled and scored in the 2nd inning.
You know, you've seen it, Don. There's always needs to be an example that's out there. Matt Holliday, who, as you said, is off today, but he is the example for these young guys, having communications, having talks of that consistency and what you have to do to play 162 games in the big leagues, and for a long period of time. So many times we hear guys that these guys are phenomenal after 1 or 2 really good years. It takes longevity in this game, and those are the conversations you got to have with the Matt Holliday.
Right back at him.
Wow.
He picked it unbelievably. Mike Leake on a hot shot right back where it came from.
Hockey suit, and this biscuit does not go in the basket. A nice glove save. This is remarkable. This ball is smoked.
Great reaction time by Leake. Frustrated. He was out before he got out of the box. Here's Jamal Weeks with 1 down. A lot of times you say he caught him.
Yeah.
Ball, but not in that
Right.
case. He made a good reaction. He was going for it.
Man.
Now Weeks a single to center field in the 2nd. Padres 4 hits on the day.
Mark, you mentioned it the other day about Molina. He did that again. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, and you see it after the signs are down, he'll indicate to that first baseman, Moss, and you see that right arm shifting out, telling him that's the breaking ball. That's also the pitch that they're most likely going to pull. That helps the corners. They don't pick up the signs. So any edge defensively that you can give, and Yadier Molina is the captain out there. Everything goes through him.
Oh, captain, my captain.
That's how you look at the Cardinals and how they perform when he is not healthy. I mean, it changes everything.
Yeah.
He is such a big part of what they do. So with that arm movement that he just gave, that would mean that Brandon Moss would go towards the line to guard the line in that instance?
Well, just momentum, and you'll see the swing, you'll see the type of pitch, and maybe he gives that sign only on breaking balls. You never know, but it's an indication defensively that you have to be aware of what's coming.
So fouled off to the left. Just saw Mike Matheny. I want to get your take on it. You know, when he got hired, you're coming in after Tony La Russa, Hall of Famer. I mean, and you wonder about no managerial experience. He's going to be able to do this unbelievable job.
I've been around Mike as a player up in San Francisco, and it didn't surprise me because of his temperament and his ability to handle exactly what we just talked about, Yadier Molina. That's what he was as a catcher.
Sharply hit on the ground, but right at Diaz. For the 2nd out. So 2 away. It'll bring up Bethancourt. We'll talk about Yadier Molina and whether or not he is a Hall of Famer right now.
Yeah, and you know what, Don, we talked about on our pregame show leading into this series, and you see the numbers. Johnny Bench really is that guy that you think about from the Hall of Fame. Mike Piazza going in and offensive minded from the catcher's position, but I think we agreed, Mark. Yadier Molina, in my estimation, you wonder when he's going to go in, but I think he is a Hall of Fame catcher because of how dominant he's been in his position.
We discussed that earlier in the game, Mark, before you joined us, and we totally agree. But, you know, do what he's been doing for the next 3-4 years, maybe 5 if he's fortunate enough to, because he's been the guy in his era that's been the guy.
And that's it. That to me is the biggest part of it. Dominant in your era, at your position.
And longevity. If you think about Yadier Molina, the last catcher that started opening day was Mike Matheny. He's been the only one since then, and that tells you what you have in the ability that he has in answering the bell. Even when he's been injured, he's answered the bell.
A dribbler that is going to be a foul ball. Aggressively Molina getting out there, but Right over his shoulder, Sean Barber, the home plate umpire, making the call.
Okay, to make you appreciate catchers all around and Yadier Molina, go out to your local sporting goods store. Buy a catcher's outfit. Right, I'm serious. Buy the shin guards, buy the chest protector, buy the mask, and squat out in your backyard 170 times, up and down, like you're catching. Okay, now you're not even swinging the bat, you're not even running the bases, and you're
calling the game.
Yeah, and see how you feel the next day.
In the air to left center field, struck pretty well. That ball is back, and that ball is gone. Into the bullpen. Christian Bethancourt has gone deep, and this game is tied.
We saw so many things in spring training that allows us to be excited about Christian Bethancourt as a hitter. You take a look at the approach, the leg kick, getting that foot down. That's the slow breaking ball that's elevated. You have to pounce on that and exactly at the right time. If you take a look at this swing, getting through the baseball, that contact position in a strong position, and also length through the baseball and backspinning that is very impressive.
Yeah, he got a big old fat one, 1-2 count, and he got extended big time. Glad to see that after sitting the bench and spelling Derek Norris today.
Chopper to third off the bat of Ray. It's Carpenter who throws him out, and it's Bethancourt and the Padres who have tied this game 3-3. First home run of the year for Bethancourt. 3-3 from Petco Park. Military Sunday here at Petco Park, and the Marine recruits here on this Sunday. Saluted in between innings as a breaking ball gets this fifth inning started to Brandon Moss.
You know what's great about that? I know it. We say it all the time, but it never gets old. Is that even the umpires, they take off their hats. They recognize the Marine recruits. The visiting team will be up on the top step of the dugout, looking that way and clapping. It's just great.
I agree with you. Yeah, it has a different meaning for the game of baseball. When you're a player, you get to enjoy that. And I think it should be throughout baseball.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, you don't see that a lot. I mean, you see it around July 4th, see it at times during the season, maybe a day here or there. But I think it's so cool, especially with such a big military town, that they recognize it every Sunday. To center field, and John Jay back and there to make the catch basket style, short of the dirt of the track for the first out as he gives Brandon Moss.
Well, John Jay playing a deep center field, which makes it a lot easier going back. Why he plays a deep center field? He likes coming forward, and it's just a protection thought process. But you'll see some center fielders. Andrew Jones played very shallow. Melvin Upton plays shallow. But for John Jay, he feels much better going forward. That's the reason why he plays a little deeper at times.
One down here in the 5th inning. Randall Grichuk, the batter, and he'll foul it back to the screen. It's amazing how some center fielders don't feel comfortable going back on the ball or don't feel like they can. I mean, Jay definitely more comfortable coming forward and does play a deep center field, and that time it helps out. It's a grounder dribble foul.
Because generally speaking, they want to take those little dunkers away in the
As
gaps,
a pitcher,
right?
I'm thinking you're thinking you want them closer.
Yeah, and guys feel more comfortable going to their left or right, going back on the ball, but not the case for John Jay.
Well, I had guys too, and I remember he was a former Padre, Steve Reed. I played the corners, and he was a sinker baller, side armor. He said, "Hey man, I need you to play up. If it's hit over your head, I'll take the blame." Because that's my fault. I'm not locating my pitch. But if you're a center fielder, that John Jay, with his experience, and we've talked about his defense coming over here, he feels more comfortable, and he's very good side to side. So that tells you it's a lot easier for him to play a little bit deeper, and defensively, he feels very comfortable about that.
John Jay giving some instruction. That was that Melvin Upton Jr. to his right in left field. He motioned kind of like running a little bit. What? Be aware of trying to maybe take the extra base on a single.
That's exactly right. You know, those are the indications, and constantly communicating and telling Melvin Upton, listen, Grichuk will take that wide turn. Because those were the conversations he had when John Jay was hurt last year. He was helping Randall Grichuk when he was getting the playing time.
Interesting having that knowledge, being with the Cardinals. Now you're taking on that team for the first time from the other side.
Look at it, he's positioning. He's moving
Everybody.
Matt Kemp over a little bit. He's directing traffic out there. We got a broken stoplight. John Jay taking charge.
Chopped up the middle towards John Jay, and there is a base hit, and he's fully aware of Grichuk. Try to take second, does it here as John Jay gets it to quickly, and that is the second hit for Grichuk of the day. Joins Jed Jerko, who also has 2 hits for the Cardinals.
You know how the game has changed? I remember days, this is back in the early 80s, pitchers would be on the mound, veteran pitchers, and they're directing the infield.
Yeah.
They're pointing this guy over that way. They're telling the infielders to move this way, that way, outfielders back, forth, whatever. I mean, now with all the information they have, spray charts, shifts, I mean, it's all coming from the dugout now, and very rarely you see pitchers saying, hey, move that way a little bit.
In fact, I would say there's pitchers today, veteran pitchers, who disagree with the way the defensive alignment is because
Clayton
of what their
Kershaw,
knowledge.
right?
Yeah.
There was a big article about Clayton Kershaw in that fact.
He has, and he's embraced it as the game has gone along because he knows it's not going away. Everyone knows it. It's very prevalent in the game.
Pitch out and a throw to first base. Back safely is Grichuk. Well, you tell me. I mean, if you know you don't like the defense behind you, do you have much conviction on what you're about to throw? Do you change what you throw because of the way they're aligned?
I'm going to stick with my strength, and I want to elaborate on the Clayton Kershaw thing. And this is just me speaking. If Clayton Kershaw is out on the mound, and I'm ahead of the shifts, I'm putting all control on him. I'm saying, dude, you've won so many Cy Youngs, you've done this, you've done that, ERA titles, triple
What
crown.
do you want?
What do you want to do? That's the way I would go about it. I want him to feel comfortable.
But you have to earn that.
Right, and he has earned it.
And he has earned it.
Absolutely.
I would have thought about it, but it takes the strike.
Good pitch.
There's so many guys, too. I remember Jason Marquis. He'd turn around exactly what you'd say and move an infielder just a little bit, move him over, because he knew what he was trying to execute. And as an infielder or a possible outfielder, if they're moving you, they have their thought. It's actually their game.
And if he misses, he would own up to it, like
Yes.
you mentioned, right? He'd wear it. He'd say, my bad. I didn't make my pitch.
Cat and mouse game going on at first base. Grichuk with the lead.
They might smell something here. 1-1. Maybe something happened early.
Good size lead for Grichuk again.
So many things you can do with Molina and how he handles the bat. We saw his previous at bat fouling balls off until he hit that hard single. But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to change the game. Tied game. And this is a situation where hit and run comes into play. Grichuk has speed, can handle a bat. Perfect scenario if you're Mike Matheny.
Molina has singled and walked on the day. His third look at Colin Ray. There he goes at first, and a ground ball right side, softly hit. Weeks will move over and throw out Molina. Good stretch there by Myers on the play. So a little hit and run there for the Cardinals, and Grichuk does take second. Molina retired.
Well, there it is, and you see Molina in a perfect hit and run situation. See Grichuk off with the pitch, peeking in. That indicates a hit and run. And nice job by Weeks. He was covering, then planted, came back, and threw that two-seamer to Will Myers, and he stayed on the bag nicely. But that's a hit and run for the Cardinals, getting Grichuk into scoring position.
And very key on the hit and run, hitting the ball on the ground. Hitting the ball in the air doesn't do you any good. And it just goes to prove it. You don't have to hit on the sweet spot. That ball was cued out to the right side.
A lot of spin on it. Weeks with a good rangy play. And nice play by Myers on the stretch. 2 down. Grichuk in scoring position in this 3-3 game. Jeremy Hazelbaker 0 for 2 on the day. Cloud cover right now as the sun is ducked back in behind the clouds. After lots of sunshine through the first 4+ innings. Elevates that time on the fastball at 91, and Hazelbaker can't catch up. Not up there.
I like that. Changing the eye level of hitters really gives them a lot of problems. Then you can work that curveball off it, and then you can work down and in as well.
Throwing a changeup here wouldn't be a bad pitch. Looks like something inside here.
And you stay up again. Fastball again. This one was at 91. This one at 92.
He wants it down and in, and you know that's a good sign. It leaks up a little bit. Still can't catch up to it at 92.
Pitch number 100 coming up here for Colin Ray with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
I'd like to see that 4-seamer again. We've seen Hazelbaker in some of the highlights. He's handled that low pitch very well. See if they continue to climb the ladder.
So far having trouble staying off that pitch. They'll stay away this time. Fastball again. First time that Colin Ray has reached the century mark. A lot of pitches early in this game. 59 through 3, 81 through 4, and here he is with 101. On the ground right side. Weeks will take care of business and end the inning. We're tied up 3-3 halfway through this one from Petco Park. Getting 2 in the first inning. As Yadier Molina, all part of it as well. His single, his 9th RBI. Grichuk would score the 2nd run. The Padres coming back in this game as Christian Bethancourt with a sac fly and a home run. Ground ball to the right side and a bad throw to first base. John Jay will reach to begin things here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The throw pulled the first baseman Brandon Moss, and Jed Jerko on the bad throw.
Well, with Jed Jerko, he looked very comfortable with this. Works underneath the baseball and very nonchalant approach from Jed Jerko. Offensively, he's had a nice series, but that could be one of those plays that could bite the Cardinals.
They're charged to Jerko on the throw. Lead runner on for the Padres for the first time today. And it comes as part of this home half of the 5th inning. Will Myers getting his 3rd plate appearance of the day, a walk and a single to this point.
And you know, Mark Sweeney made a good point. That's the chatter in the dugout. You got guys going, come on now, make it hurt.
Yeah.
Let's do some damage.
Well, it's just like a leadoff walk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's damaging right now, and hopefully the Padres can capitalize.
Well, the first, and looked like Jay may have been leaning a little bit there, but he does get back to the bag.
Remember back in the day when, as there's action and Kevin Quackenbush heating up. Steve Sachs had some throwing problems,
yes,
right? That's why you got to bust your tail down the line every time, no matter who's playing second base. That one little bad flip.
Chuck Knobloch, he had trouble too.
Yeah.
Chopped off the plate foul outside of 3rd.
One time when I was with the Giants, Dodger Stadium, you know, the vantage point where we sit first base side, a direct line from second base to first base is in the dugout. Top of the 1st inning to end the inning, ground ball to second. Everybody in our dugout, the Giants dugout, sprinted towards the tunnel because Sachs had to throw it to first, and he was running off the field looking in our dugout and giving us a sign.
Yeah.
Along the way.
Funny stuff, guys.
Yeah. True story.
0-2 pitch inside.
Can't be too good for your psyche if you're Steve
No.
Sachs, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, snowballed on him a little bit as it did for Chuck Knobloch, and that's just wow.
I don't like to see that happen to anybody. Pitchers, position players. When you get
Rick
the
Ankiel.
Rick Ankiel, yeah.
Turned him into an outfielder.
In the dirt. Mark Wohlers too a little bit, right, in the end. Mark Wohlers.
I was
Did you
with
play
Mark.
Wohlers?
I was with Mark with the Reds.
That's right.
I'll never forget with Mark, and he went through all of his command problems, and they were throwing early batting practice. And I was the huckleberry. I had to go out there and take those swings, and he spiked a split finger. And then the next pitch almost went out of the batting cage. So they wheeled in the plastic man. You remember the plastic man? You could put the bat in. They wheeled the plastic man, and I said, oh, "Where does he go from here?"
Right.
He's got to throw against the plastic man instead
first,
of a.
First it's Mark Sweeney, then they move to the plastic man, and then
What's that make me?
Now what do we do?
What's that make me?
Did he hurt the plastic man or no?
No, he did. I didn't watch. Mentally, that's a little challenging.
It is.
Plastic man went 2 for 4 off him.
With a hit by pitch.
Will Myers battling here with a count of 2-2. John Jay at first base to get this inning started, and the miscue by Jed Jerko. Throwing error that began this inning.
Ooh. You know what? As soon as that's a strike, obviously, by the Fox Tracks, but the way Molina was set up inside, he had to reach across there. That's a tough break for Mike Leake. That's a darn good pitch. Will Myers gets another crack at it.
Well, that's what happens when you're going well, and Will Myers has been swinging the bat very well. Those are the breaks that you get. If you're in a bad break, that's a punch out.
His base hit in the 3rd, extending his hitting streak to 9 games now. Runner goes at first as Myers fouls it off to the right, and that ended up being right down Broadway.
You know, this is the at-bat, and you know Will Myers has been working that right center approach. That's the reason why he let that ball travel just a little bit longer, causing that foul ball. But I don't mind that because it's been going very well, and his swing is pattern to that. Let's see if the Cardinals try to throw that pitch middle in.
Yeah, that approach has been great for him lately. Runner goes again. Myers taking this time, and that's ball 4. So an error and a walk. Runners at first and second to start this Padres 5th inning.
Well, we've seen Matt Kemp swinging yesterday, having the 2 doubles, but this is a really nice swing. Watch him back that up, and you see on contact, perfect balance throughout the swing. Today, much the same. Very similar height on the pitch, and you can see just a little bit more out front. But Matt Kemp swinging the bat well. It's not necessarily the home runs, but those doubles and driving runs in. That actually, unfortunately, bounced over the fence today.
So he bats with Jay at second base, Myers at first, nobody out in the 5th. You mentioned the double. He's also flying to right, so a 1-for-2 day for Matt Kemp. Strike 1 over that outside corner. Jay and Myers on the bases here for San Diego. Kemp on the ground to third base. Carpenter will go to second for 1, on to first for 2. Well, Leake always looking to induce a ground ball, the sinker ball pitcher, and he gets a double play ball as they go around the horn. Jay will take third base, but now with 2 down.
Mike Leake's numbers, we talked about him earlier, not good, the high ERA, but it takes 1 pitch, 1 sinker to get 2 outs, and he could find that groove. That's exactly where he wanted it. Molina was inside. Matt got tied up. They throw it around the horn. 1 pitch, 2 outs.
So with 2 down, Jay at third base and Melvin Upton Jr. coming up. And are they looking to check this out? Mark McGuire trying to get the word from the clubhouse as whether or not they are going to challenge.
I'm just wondering if they're just challenging with Jerko staying on the bag. Looks like he stays on there, and that's what they were probably checking. You have to, as a middle infielder, stay on the bag and then the throw.
Upton will take that pitch outside. And it's even at 1-1.
See John Jay at second base, and you're wondering if they did call the slide. And they have to put John Jay back at second base rather than third base.
On the ground, deep in the hole, off the glove of Diaz. Here comes John Jay around from second. He will score, and the Padres will take a 4-3 lead. A 2-out RBI from Melvin Upton Jr. has given San Diego the lead.
Hey, another ground ball hit sharply just out of the reach of Diaz at short, and it plays well for the Padres because it misdirects it. Hey, you know what? I don't care that John Jay's not at third base. He'll score nicely off the glove. And the Padres take the lead. Hard grounder. Good swing.
Melvin Upton continues to work that offense and benefiting from that mechanical adjustment. And he looks very comfortable and really involved with the offense on a daily basis.
So 2 down, Upton at first base, and the Padres on top now. Brett Wallace 0 for 2 in this game. He has struck out looking and grounded out to second as they check on Upton at first base. Throw to first again. And timeout was called before the throw to first base. Home plate umpire Sean Barber indicating that Molina had asked for time.
See if Brett Wallace gets into one here.
Still looking for his first home run of the year.
Oh.
Strike called. Didn't
Wow.
appear to be a
Yeah,
strike.
it's on the corner all right. 8th and K. My goodness. He doesn't need that much help.
Wallace, who came off the bench with so much success last year, hitting up over 300. This year, with all the injuries, having a chance to play at third base. Pitch out, and nothing doing. Upton remains at first base.
Yeah, Don, with those injuries comes opportunity for Brett Wallace. Not normally your third baseman. He's the pinch hitter off the bench, but these are beneficial at-bats to get him on track, get that timing going. Very important for a bench player. And when there's injuries, there's opportunities.
Inside, Walsh gets hit. So down to first he goes. Upton Jr. to second base. So an error this inning, a walk, now a hit batsman with a double play mixed in. Padres have taken the lead and given another opportunity here for another run.
Yeah, this looks like a cutter that gets in on the hip of Brett Wallace.
I think he's thinking right along with you, Mark Sweeney, not wanting to get him extended, so he's trying to bury that pitch in. He misses.
First and second, 2 down. Alexei Ramirez coming up here for San Diego. 1 for 2. Single to left in the second. Lyon back to the mound in the fourth. Now he lines into left field for a base hit. Upton Jr. being waved around. The throw is going to be cut off, and the Padres take a 5-3 lead. Another 2-out RBI for San Diego. This time it's Alexei Ramirez. Taking advantage of some opportunities on the Padres here in the 5th inning.
Well, remember, Alexei hit that single to left in the second. He nearly took the glove off of Leake in the 4th with that liner, so he's swinging the bat well. A breaking ball. He stays on the breaking ball nicely. Padres adding on here with 2 outs. Long inning for the Friar.
Yeah, and the emotion in the dugout. That's what you need, especially for the Padres. They need to win this series.
Eric Lilliquist to the phone as Leake running into some trouble here in the 5th. Jamal Weeks trying to add on to it here for San Diego. He'll take strike 1. Jamal has single to center and grounded out to short. 1 for 2. Having a good time?
Well, I'm having a good time, but you mentioned Lilliquist on the phone. It just reminded me the last time you were on the phone, you were ordering the Meat Lovers Pizza.
With extra sausage.
So the Padres digging in here, right?
Yeah.
Dig in, add
So
on.
are you, by the way.
Hey, have another slice, which means score another run. That gets the Cardinal bullpen going quickly. Bowman, Matt Bowman heating up. Hey, score enough to where the Padre pitching staff, if they make a mistake, it really doesn't hurt them that much. You know, guys, we talked about that a lot last year. I mean, too many times you give up even a solo shot, and it's just not, you know, the other team's right back in the game. Some wiggle room, some breathing room, enabling a pitcher to make a mistake, and you're still okay.
Yeah, and the 2-out RBIs, those are devastating to the opposition. Yeah. Those are big offensive weapons for the Padres, and that's going to give them confidence moving forward.
And Jamal Weeks with an opportunity here. Time call. He backs out. Taking a long time is Leake, who slowed it up. Sun back with us again, poking through the clouds. 7th member of the Padres to bat here in the bottom of the 5th. On the outside corner for strike 3.
Really?
That will end the inning, but the Padres able to come up with 2 in the inning. John Jay scores. Melvin Upton Jr. scores. San Diego on top 5-3 through the first 5.
4.
Over the Cardinals with 2 runs in the last half of the 5th inning. It's on to the 6th we go.
Well, you see the play, and Will Myers, watch the slide. You have to slide straight into the bag. And the umpire immediately points right at Will Myers. So the double play is there, and they put John Jay back to second base. That's what happens. And then obviously Melvin Upton hits him in, so it didn't matter.
So that's what they were looking at video-wise, was to see whether or not Myers did that, and that's why Jay was at second instead of at third. That's why Mark
umpires need a microphone to explain that to the crowd.
I agree. In the NFL.
Absolutely.
Well, we're doing the guessing game up here, and unfortunately, that's what we don't know what's happening until after the fact.
5-3. Padres have the lead now.
We need a shutdown inning right here from Kevin Quackenbush.
New pitcher had a tough game yesterday, as did really the bullpen for the Padres. This pitching change brought to you by El Cajon Ford.
And the walks are up from Kevin in those 9+ innings. Not five free passes. So right back out there with the 2-run lead, bridging that gap when your starter doesn't go deep.
In the air to right field, struck well. Matt Kemp going back, and that ball is gone. Opposite field home run for Jed Jerko. His second home run in 2 games against his former team. His 3rd hit of this game, a single, a triple, and now a home run. And it's a 1-run game.
Once again, Mark Sweeney. The triple opposite field off the wall. The home run wants it down and away, and Quackenbush, it's away, outer third, but up a little bit. And the ball's traveling well to right field today.
That tells me you have to throw him in. I mean, you have to pitch him in to get him away from that thought process, because he is looking out over the plate and he's capitalizing and letting that ball travel. You got to credit Jed Jerko with the swing, but you got to give him some different looks.
In the air to deep left field off the bat of Diaz, and that ball is going to be gone up into the upper deck, and it ties this game. Cardinals go back to back on Kevin Quackenbush, and it is 5-5. Quick answer from the Cardinals.
It looked like he was trying to get ahead with the first pitch breaking ball, and it speeds up the bat, and this kid has been unbelievable this series. He is not missing a thing.
7th and 8th spots of the order for the Cardinals have been dominating in this series.
As Colton Wong was introduced as the pinch hitter for the pitcher's spot, Andy Green out to make a double switch, it appears. Ryan Buchter in the pen warming up. Quackenbush facing two batters, Jerko and Diaz, both going deep. And a double switch coming here for Andy Green, and a tie game again, 5-5 now. Bukter will be coming in. The pitching change from Petco Park, all tied at 5.
Really take that longboard really everywhere? Is that like a shtick? Like he shows up in a car and then he gets in the board on the board? But you're on that thing.
Yeah, I ride from the parking lot to the clubhouse every day, and I'm not much of a super skateboarder, but a longboard I definitely love doing and cruising out on the town and just hanging out.
Kevin Quackenbush has left this game after giving him back-to-back home runs. Jed Jerko led Miss Diaz to tie the game 5 aside, and part of the double switch, Andy Green now bringing Ryan Bukter into the game. As part of that double switch, Adam Rosales now takes over at second base for Jemile Weeks. The pitcher spot now 7th in the Padres order. And Ruben Tejada runs up, shows bunt, and takes the strike. Colton Wong was introduced, so he is burnt from the game. And not able to come back into this game. Here are the numbers for Bukter.
Okay, brand new ball game. Knotted up at 5, and Ryan Bukter, over the course of time, we've seen him in that short time. I like his stuff. Very impressive. Hides the ball well, kind of a slingshot type, hides the ball.
Diving at third, Wallace can't get it. Ramirez does throw one hop, and plenty of time.
I think Wallace deflected this ball. Let's see if he deflects it. Yes, he does, just a little bit. Ramirez making that nice backhand adjustment. And then the long throw.
He is a magician with the glove.
Wow.
Did you see that? The backhand actually to the extreme right of Alexei rather than going with the fingers down the other way. That's impressive. And then going Davy Concepcion with the one hop over to first base.
Yeah, without the turf.
Yeah.
5-6-3 on that putout at first base as it works out. Wallace did make contact with it. And here's Matt Carpenter, 4th plate appearance of the day. And Bukter trying to settle down this Cardinals offense.
Well, Bukter came in 2 nights ago in the same situation against Carpenter and struck him out.
A little work on that landing area, a little slip there at the end of that last delivery.
Mark, that was a great sequence of pitches the other night. Just peppered away, knee-high outside corner. Bang, bang, bang for the strikeout.
Yeah, I loved it. And you could see the emotion that Ryan Bukter has, too. That's what you fall in love with. You said a great point, too, Mark. He hides the baseball.
And when you look from our vantage point, guys, his left foot is on the third base side of the rubber, but when you look at his landing area, There's his foot, and he's going to throw across his body more on the first base side, more in line with the inside part of the plate to the left-handed hitting Carpenter. So the old crossfire. Where'd that miss?
Down to first base goes Carpenter. Just walk allowed here by Buchter. It is the third free pass served up by Padres pitching today.
Well, just for the fans out there, when you hide the baseball, it's not necessarily velocity.
Right.
You don't need the velocity. They don't pick up the release point too well, so it pops out of the hands, and you'll get hitters to jump and also get out of the strike zone. And it's not necessarily the lefties, it's the right-handers too that have a tough time picking up that release point.
Piscotty takes strike one, so it's all about deception.
It is. And you know what? I heard a really interesting thing. Max Scherzer said that. He goes, I've actually manipulated my landing foot to add deception to my delivery. So because when he landed straight forward, they could see his arm a lot quicker. And it makes a lot of sense, especially from the hitter's perspective. When you pick up that release point, so much easier when you see that arm before the release point happens. If they hide that arm and then the release point happens, you're going to get a lot of swings and misses, a lot of takes that they're not picking up that baseball.
Scotty batting with Carpenter at first base. One out here in the Cardinals' sixth inning. They've tied this game up 5-5. Back and forth we go. And Piscotty lifts a fly ball down the right field line. Kemp headed towards the corner. Still going, and Kemp into the slide. Unable to make the catch.
What a great effort, Matt Kemp. That's a long run.
Well, he has a couple flash looks at it, and he knows he has to slide because his momentum's going towards that wall. Very tough play, and you can see him just out of the glove, tipping that baseball.
So another opportunity here for Stephen Piscotty. 0 for 3 in the game, couple of strikeouts and a ground out. So going to try to come in on him. And a swing and a miss. That one by him. The gas at 93 miles an hour. Strikeout for Buchter. Second out here of the sixth inning.
Well, there's that deception you're talking about, Mark Sweeney, because the fastball from Buchter, it's kind of straight. Up the ladder, inside, ties him up.
Buchter going to work on that landing spot again. Talk about him throwing across his body. He's having trouble with that landing spot. Trying not to have trouble here with Brandon Moss. 0 for 3 in the game. Pops it up. Foul ground. Bethancourt discards the mask, comes back, but he'll have no play. This one run in 6 straight games for Quackenbush. Back-to-back home runs allowed this inning to Jerko and Diaz.
Hey, been there, done that. Not a good feeling.
I mean,
to bounce back.
He's looking to bounce back today after a tough outing last night and get that out of his head, and then this happens, unfortunately. Moss with that open stance. Gotta be careful with his power. Oh, 0-2 as he went around. Once Moss gets it started, sometimes hard to stop. Inside, and Moss gets hit on the hand. So Buchter gets ahead, 0-2, trying to come in and ends up hitting him.
Moss gets hit, and also Christian Bethancourt gets the ricochet. Watch this. Off the forearm, and then Bethancourt gets it down the leg.
Taking that glove off, surveying the situation, checking out that hand.
Mark Sweeney, what's the hardest you ever got hit anywhere?
Well, I mean,
you recall?
I don't recall. I mean, the hardest hit right on the melon. I mean, off the helmet. I don't remember who was throwing, but that's why I twitch a little bit.
Still to this day.
Yeah. You know, when you take those naps and you get that little twitch?
Yeah.
I always have that baseball coming right
I get
at
the
my
line
head.
drive right up the middle.
Did you really?
Oh, I'm in a nice little slumber. I'm trying to, hey, right at the melon.
Right at the dome.
That's why I say a lot of wrong things, because I get hit on the head.
So you've both been hit in the head with significant.
No, not hitting the head,
injury.
but I mean, I've gotten out of the way.
We both have protection as well.
Here's Randall Grichuk with runners at first and second.
But Mark, I think it's always worth talking about. We've seen a couple of hitters turning the right way. Talk about turning the right way as a hitter.
Yeah, turning the right way is away from the baseball, and you see those elbow guards that are used a lot in baseball. Randall Grichuk right on that left elbow. But turning the right way away from the baseball, especially those younger players playing out there. You don't want to turn in, exposing your chest and everything else, your hand.
Did you make those, Mark? Those
No,
balloon hats?
I thought
Pomeranz make those?
I thought Sundays were for you. I always wondered that. I love the animals that you create with balloons.
Grichuk batting here with runners at first and second, 2 down. He's got 2 hits already on the day and an RBI. And he fouls it back out of play. 2-1, jumping on that 2-0 pitch. Booker, the third arm used by Andy Green, second of this inning. Colin Ray going the first 5, allowing 3 runs. Not be part of the decision today. Ended up throwing 101 pitches.
Infielders dive and getting dirty on a grounder.
Ooh, pretty good rip there. Fouled it back to the screen on the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Jerko, the home run, got this inning started. Second in the last 2 games. He's a double shy for hitting for the cycle in this game. A single, a triple, and a home run. Framed by Bethancourt, but it is outside.
Doesn't move the glove, but the glove was off the plate. Good call. That's a ball.
Matt Carpenter at second base. Brandon Moss at first. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. They'll be on the move. And a strikeout for Booker. Needed that and gets his second K of the inning. Back-to-back home runs for the Cardinals. They tie this game at 5 aside. Bay, proudly serving the needs of the military community for over 90 years. By Saquon Casino, sign up for the new Padres Club Card today. And by Mercury Insurance, we're on a mission to save you money. Log on to mercuryinsurance.com today. Quite a ball game today. Back and forth we go, and right now knotted at 5 into the bottom of the 6th inning. Mike Leake going the first 5 innings for the Cardinals, but now Soonwon Oh comes into the game. He was impressive last night.
Fastball, slider, splitter for O. And you know what? He's about 90 to 94. Average is about 92. See the splits there in the short time. 9 2/3 stanzas for the right-hander from South Korea. Pretty good splits early on in the season.
So O will deal with Christian Bethancourt, who leads it off here for the Padres.
Guys, he also kind of throws across his body a little bit. A little toe tap.
Now Bethancourt, last time up in the 4th inning, a solo shot. First home run of the year, up into the bullpen. This one cued foul.
Did you see the front side of O? His leg, his landing leg?
I did not.
It's like he's got like a crab hanging onto his big toe and he's trying to shake it off. When he comes towards home plate, it's really odd. Watch his front foot. He kind of.
It's a little wiggle there at the end. Bethancourt now. Rosales, who came in as part of the double switch, waits on deck. In the air to shallow center. Jerko out. Greshek coming in. And it's the center fielder who puts it away for out number 1. Our game presented in HD by Sony. And beautiful pictures they are on this afternoon. Day baseball from Petco Park in San Diego. Military Sunday. Game tied 5-5 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The numbers last night for O. Pretty impressive. Struck out the side as it worked out for him. Rosales will take strike 1.
Yeah, when you're facing a guy for the first time, you want to definitely get after it. As you see the phantom cam, that's the crabbing foot by Mark Grant.
Yeah, you know when you're walking on the beach, you got those crabs and they kind of poke at your big toe. You kind of try to shake it off a little bit.
I hate when that happens.
He's even got his name on his spikes. Oh.
Outside to Rosales. Wants a new baseball. Get one from Sean Barber, the home plate umpire. And one of the strengths of this Cardinals team, you talk to the Cardinals people, they'll tell you their bullpen is their best asset. And a tie game here headed down the stretch.
Well, top to bottom, excuse me, Don, last year having the best ERA in baseball. And that's top to bottom. So you know you're getting the starters and then finishing it off, and knowing they have a closer in Trevor Rosenthal, that sets up very nicely for Mike Matheny and how he scripts the rest of the game.
And on April 24th, when you look at the rankings, the St. Louis Cardinals second in the National League, ERA 2.37 behind the Nationals, who are first at 2.14. So they got it working.
Strike 3 call, and generous on that outside corner. Rosales doesn't think so as he heads to the dugout shaking his head, takes with him the first strikeout for O. 2 down.
Well, the kid's got control with the fastball and the breaking ball, and he may have gotten a call there. See how Molina caught that down in the webbing a little bit, where it had the illusion of the glove being over the outside part of the plate. That's some glove control. We talk about bat control. How about glove control?
2 down here in the 6th inning. Top of the order, John Jay. Jay has flied out to center, struck out, and reached on an error. Fights this one off foul, is biting in on him at 92 miles an hour.
It looked like it had a little cutting action on that last pitch. that crossfire that you have, and it'll feel like it just keeps on coming in on you. I wonder if that grip pressure's changed for O.
But you had to love those catchers who could frame it oh so well as Molina can. Make it into a strike even if it isn't.
Yeah, and going back as a young fan, I remember watching Bob Boone, San Diegan.
Yeah.
He was one of the best.
Towards center field, Grichuk moves over to right center and puts it away to end the inning. We are through 6, still deadlocked at 5 from Petco Park. Time now for the great moments in Major League Baseball history, brought to you by Geico, playing the 22nd All-Star Game in Milwaukee County Stadium. Stan Musial hits a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 12th inning of the 1955 Midsummer Classic to give the National League the win 6-5.
That's back when they had enough pitching in the All-Star Game.
Right.
Milwaukee?
Yes.
Remember, that's where it happened. Sorry,
Yeah.
Bob Brenly.
Yeah.
Managing the National League and then American League. Joe Torre.
Joe Torre.
Hey,
And then
we don't have any more pitching.
And then the game counted after that.
Yeah.
Now it counts. Besides the home field advantage in the World Series. Yadier Molina leading it off here and grounding one foul outside of third. Molina today has singled to left, walked, and grounded out to second base.
Magical moment right there going home. Oh, yeah. Dad's trying to take it. You're not getting this.
Fastball elevated that time. Molina goes up to get it, fouls it back. Look at today's box score for the Cardinals. Jed Jerko leading the way, a 3-hit day. Over that number 7 spot for the Cardinals. Molina, Hazelbaker, and Jerko expected in this inning for the Cardinals. Buchter finished the 6th, starts the 7th, and there's a pop-up foul out of play.
Threw it exactly where he wanted it. Bethencourt was up out of the crouch, had the high target, and he hit it, and Molina fouled it back. Big inning right here, Mr. Orsillo.
Huge.
Tie ball game. We just showed you the Cardinal box score and the guys in that box score who have done some damage.
Pretty good job by Ryan Buchter since coming into this game. His 1-2. Fouled off the shoe top for Molina.
It's a tough at-bat, isn't he?
Always. Deep counts, fouls off some pitches, takes some pitches, a great eye. Comes in as the best hitter for the Cardinals right now. Started the day at 344. 1-2. Popped up foul, and out of play again. Seven pitch at bat so far for Molina. Count of 1 and 2. Clouds have moved in here to Petco Park.
This guy's ready for some grounders.
Strike 3 call. Now we have seen that Sean Barber has made that call a lot of the day, and he rings up Molina on it.
And you know what? Yadier Molina's got no right to gripe with that pitch. First of all, it's a legitimate strike. Fox Tracks has got it right on the outside corner.
You're not going to tell Yadier Molina, though, that it was a strike. He doesn't think so. Third K for Buchter since coming into this game. Molina is out number 1 of the 7th inning. Jeremy Hazelbaker. Number off the end of the bat, foul.
You know, Don, the confidence of Ryan Buchter is just going to skyrocket, especially going through lineups like this and at bats like this. Crunch time, 5-5 late, facing a Mr. Everything in Molina. And with the way the Cardinals been swinging the bat here, if he can get through this inning, wow.
Helps his confidence.
Oh.
Helps the manager's confidence and Andy Green in him.
Yeah.
In late game situations.
He's got to bring down the splits a little bit. And once again, small sample size as far as right-handers are concerned. Going into this game, right-handers off Buchter, 313, 5 for 16, but lefties 1 for 10. You know, over the course of a season, maybe he can make some adjustments to bring that split down, so they can use him in high leverage situations, righties and lefties alike.
Jerko waiting on deck. How about his day? Single, triple, home run. And a home run last night as well. One-two. A little bit too far off the plate that time. Ryan Buchter's previous experience in the major leagues, just the Atlanta Braves. Marine recruits enjoying the ball game. Swing and a miss. Buchter able to elevate. That's strikeout number 4 for Ryan Buchter. 2 down.
Well, Jed Jerko swinging the hot bat. He's using the whole field. The triple to right field, just out of the reach of Matt Kemp. And then the opposite field bolt going onto the deck. And as Don mentioned earlier, a double shy of the cycle.
Kredzolanek, the last pitch in there for a strike. 93 from Buchter. Kredzolanek, April 27, 2005 against Milwaukee. John Mabry, May 18th, 1996. In the dirt. There's John Mabry. Three strikeouts in a row for Ryan Buchter. And 4 to the last 5 hitters. He hit Brandon Moss mixed in there, but striking people out. Like to get Jerko here as he falls behind 2-1.
You know what's impressive, Don, is that Buchter has been getting the punch outs via the heater, locating the heater, which is a good sign.
Heater that time, but he falls behind 3-1. St. Louis doing a lot of their damage this season, 7 through 9 as far as innings go. 3-1 in the air to left field. Upton had started back, now he comes in. He will get there without a problem and end the inning. Ryan Buchter with a very nice 7th inning. A 1-2-3 inning as we will keep it right here for 7th inning stretch on this Military Sunday from Petco Park for God Bless America.
It's time for the 7th inning stretch. Before we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game here on Military Sunday, please stand And welcome from the USS Theodore Roosevelt, Electronics Technician 3rd Class Jessica Borg. Please sing along as she presents God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
ET3 Jessica Borg.
Get ready for the home half of the 7th inning. It's time now for the Bill Howe play of the game. And with a shift on, only Alexi Ramirez on the left side of the Padres infield. On this pop-up and foul ground, he's got to cover a bunch of ground. Starting from straightaway at shortstop and heading a long way into foul ground, some 89 feet to make the catch. Almost went through the webbing of the glove.
That's a great play. Why? Because it takes the bat out of the hand. That's a great effort by Ramirez, helping out his pitcher and moving it along. Big out right there.
New pitcher now for the Cardinals into the bottom of the 7th inning. Kevin Segrist comes in now for St. Louis. Third arm used by Mike Matheny. Will Myers will lead it off. Matt Kemp, Melvin Upton Jr. We're looking at 2, 3, and 4 for the Padres. That's strike one to Myers. So ends up pitching the 6th inning, has another 1-2-3 inning with another strikeout. He struck out the side in last night's game.
I think Segrist is a strikeout pitcher. 6 2/3, 8th game. 10 strikeouts, only 1 walk.
That would make him a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, from the left side.
And again, part of this very good Cardinals bullpen.
And he goes from the third base side, so as a right-handed hitter, he's coming right at that front hip pocket to get that crossfire action that we're talking about. Throws across his body. Well, if there's a guy you'd want up in this situation, it's Will Myers, the way he's been seeing the baseball and swinging the bat in a 5-5 tie in the home half of the 7th.
On 3 times today, 2 walks and a single, extending that hitting streak now to 9 games. thought about it and take strike 3. Nothing he could do. Couldn't pull the trigger there. And Segrist able to strike him out for the first out here in the 7th inning. Froze him, really.
Yeah, ball leaks right down the middle, but still. It looks like by that body language, Will Myers was looking for something else.
So 1 down here in the 7th. Brings up Matt Kemp. Kemp today has fly to right, doubled, and grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Back and forth we've gone all day, and this game right now tied 5-5. Kemp, who has 5 home runs on the year, doubled back in the 3rd.
You know, the one thing that sticks out in my mind in a game like this, it's almost got that extra inning feel to where, as a hitter, you can't try to be the hero with one swing. What I mean by that is draw a walk, pass it to the next guy, double, 1st and 3rd maybe, get him in with a sac fly. You know, sure, the home run would be nice, but I think the mentality of these hitters is work a good at bat, A, 2, get a good pitch to hack at, and 4th, just, you know, try to get in a scoring position for the next guy to help you out and get you in to break the tie.
Kemp will take it down and in. Head 3-0. On deck, Melvin Upton Jr. Crowd waiting here to explode for the Padres. A very big crowd at that. 37,000. 395 on hand here today on this Sunday afternoon. The finale of the 3-game series with the Cardinals. The finale of the homestand for the Padres. Kemp, green light, and he swings and misses. 3-1.
Right, change up.
Didn't give in. Still the good hitters count here, though, for Kemp. Second baseman Jed Jerko playing right up the middle to the right of second base. Not a full ship, but they're definitely playing him to pull. Fouls it off, full count. Fastball that time from Segrist. 92 on the fastball. Mentioned the strikeouts for Segrist already. Striking out Myers to begin the inning. Rolls it over, foul.
Well, Segrist doing a good job. Down and in 3 times, and then trying to pepper away that outside part of the plate to Kemp, making him guess, not falling into a pattern.
Kemp now. Melvin Upton Jr. waiting on deck.
Oh, he had one there, but he pulled the string again. The changeup. And that's why I love that pitch so much. Now, a good changeup can be right down the middle, Don, and you know what? The hitters look at it, and all of a sudden it's either the whiff or it's off the end of the bat. Such a good pitch to master. If you've got kind of an average breaking ball, master the cambio, yo. I heart cambio.
To right center as Grichuk coming in, running full bore, and makes the catch on the run. So Grichuk able to make a good running grab. Second out here of the 7th inning. It's time now for the San Diego fan of the game. Mesa Verde Middle School Band and Orchestra here at the game today. Part of the 37,395. And you can tell it's them. What? Because they're all wearing blue t-shirts.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, two down here in the 7th inning. And it brings up Melvin Upton Jr. He's popped out to second, grounded out to short, singled, driven in 2 runs today. A huge win today would be for the Padres, finishing the homestand on a good note, being a good Cardinals team. Getting ready to head out on the road against the San Francisco Giants. LA Dodgers coming up on this 7-day, 6-game trip. Upton didn't like it as he spins out of the box, shaking his head. Didn't think it was a strike, and counts even at 1-1. Strike two. Upton didn't like that one either.
Yeah, pitch number 3 seemed to be a little bit better than the previous. Don't get tossed now. Need that bat in the lineup, possibly do something offensively to help out.
That was actually a better pitch.
Yeah.
So now we're all set. Right?
Yeah,
We're made
Molina
up
was set up away, and he had to reach across there, and he tried to frame it, but did not get the call. That's a legitimate strike.
So even at 2-2. Swinging away and swinging through that 92-mile-an-hour fastball, striking out to end the inning. Padres down in order, and Upton has some things to say to Sean Barber. Tossed, ejected. 5-5 score.
Where it is a 5-5 ball game, the Nationals and the Twins. Mark and I are working on Padres Live, the post-game show, which will be brought to you by Cox Communications, coming up after the final out. We will talk about what's going on all around the league. We'll have some highlights for you, and you're going to hear from both managers, Mike Matheny and Andy Green. So let's get it back up to Don Orsillo and Mark Grant. Gentlemen.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. Tied up here, 5-5 to the 8th inning we go. Brandon Bauer on the mound now for the Padres. After a very good job by Ryan Buchter. 2 innings of relief for Buchter. Travis Jankowski taking over in left field after Melvin Upton Jr. ejected from this game. Swinging away is Diaz, lifting a fly ball to left center, and it's John Jay. First out of the 8th. An hour into the game, the 4th arm used by Andy Green.
One thing in mind, throw up a bagel and do it quickly. See the splits Righties 313. Hopefully that can turn around, but lefties no chance. Good off-speed pitches. I think that counters the lefties. Only a .071 average. 9th game for Brandon.
Well, Matt Adams pinch hitting here in the pitcher spot with 1 out in the 8th inning. Padres into the shift on the right side. Be careful with the Cardinals and their pinch hit home runs. They've got 7. Major League Baseball just saw Harper with his pinch hit home run. The rest of Major League Baseball combined, they've got 9. Cardinals have 7 themselves. Keep that in mind as big Matt Adams bats here pinch hitting. Five in a row retired by Padres pitching. Ryan Buchter 2 innings. No hits, no runs. Walked a batter, struck out 4. And hit a batter while he was in there. Did a very good job. There's a strike. 3-1.
Well, this late in the ball game, 8th inning. I always have a tendency in a tie ball game at 5. Look at the benches. Only Holiday and Fryer from the right side for Mike Matheny for the Cardinals. And then seems like Andy Green's got a little bit more to work with up until this point. Norris, Perella, Blash from the right side.
Payoff pitch. And it is lined over the shift into right center field. A base hit. Kemp will cut it off. And a pinch hit single for Matt Adams with 1 out here in the 8th inning.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the San Diego Padres and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
1 out, runner at first. Now we're going to work now on Matt Carpenter, the top of the Cardinals order. Has worked in 8 previous games so far this season. Scoreless outings in 5 of those 8 outings. Second season with the Padres. First time he's been on the opening day roster. You remember he was being stretched out as a starter during spring training, but back in the pen again, and he's been the 8th inning guy in close games or with a lead. Did he go? They checked. No, he did not, says Tim Timmons.
I might have a say so in this. You know me, if they twitch, they go.
I'm with it. His intent is to swing.
Oh, most definitely he went.
And he did.
You know my reasoning behind that. If you take the bat to the furthest point to where before he brings it back.
Line to right, this is trouble. It gets down and heads towards the corner. Matt Adams headed for third and beyond as Kemp gets it back in the corner. Adams coming plateward, throw going to third as the Cardinals have taken the lead. Carpenter with a triple to the right field corner. Matt Adams scores all the way from first, and St. Louis takes a 6-5 lead.
And you know what enabled Adams to score all the way from first? The positioning in the outfield. Carpenter got a pitch, he pulled down the line, and they were bunching him towards the gap, it looked like, in right center field. So a long run for Matt Kemp. There's the pitch, it's in. He wanted it away. So Matt Kemp's got all this way to go. And Matt Adams, who doesn't run well, because of that position where the ball was hit, he scores all the way from first base.
Infield in all the way around now for the Padres. Stephen Piscotty lifts a fly ball to short right. Kemp coming in. He will come in and make the catch and draw a throw, and a good one from Kemp from right, but not going anywhere. At third base is Carpenter. Kemp was far too shallow for Carpenter to try it, so that is out number 2 of the inning. And it'll bring up Brandon Moss. Moss today has reached on a fielder's choice, fouled out, flied out to center, and been hit by a pitch. Put him on. First base open. Not going to deal with Moss.
Righty on righty set it up for a Mauer-Grichuk matchup.
There is Grichuk waiting on deck. Colin Ray started this game for Andy Green. 3 runs in 5 innings. Kevin Quackenbush gave up 2 runs, back-to-back solo shots. Ryan Buchter 2 innings, and Brandon Mauer in the game now here in the 8th. Go-ahead run coming across here for the Cardinals right now. Trying to keep this a 1-run deficit is Mauer.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium. It's the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
First and third with Carpenter at third, Moss at first. Randall Grichuk, the batter, he has 2 hits in the game and an RBI. Both the hits singles. Mixed in a stolen base and a run scored. Been a productive day for the Cardinals center fielder. Swings here, drives it towards the alley in left center. That'll get down and roll to the track of the wall. Carpenter will score. Moss trying to score all the way from first base. The throw from Ramirez is going to be cut off. And 2 more Cardinals runs come in. They take an 8-5 lead with a 3-run top half of the 8th inning to this point.
Early in the count, and once again, we talk about location so much, and just that little bit is going to make the difference. So rather than being away, it leaks down the heart of the plate, splitting the gaps, and the Redbirds adding on.
Nothing going out to talk to Mauer. They get ready to deal with Molina. Jonathan Broxton, who we saw pitch in last night's game, getting ready. He's been the 8th inning man. Now this very strong Cardinals bullpen has a 3-run lead to work with. In the air to left center field. Jankowski moves over and makes the catch shy of the track. That ends the inning, but a big inning for the Cardinals. They scored 3 times, take an 8-5 lead. Baseball brought to you by Petco, your complete pet store. By USAA, official military appreciation partner of the San Diego Padres. And by your San Diego County Lexus dealers. Military Sunday at Petco Park. The Marine recruits here today and are departing single file as the Padres trail now by a score of 8-5. They've got work to do as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th. Showed you Jonathan Broxton warming in the pen, and here is Broxton ready to go for the 8th.
Back-to-back nights for the big right-hander. Last night in the 8th, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. He just comes right after you with the hard fastball, flip up the breaking ball. Always working from the stretch.
Takes over for Siegrist as Brett Wallace leads it off here for the Padres in the 8th inning. Siegrist ended up going an inning, had 2 strikeouts in the inning. And now the pitcher of record for the Cardinals. Wallace 0 for 2 today, hit by a pitch his last time up. That was in the 5th inning.
Broxton, Don, is pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. You know, he's got that fastball, that slider. Very, very rarely the curveball or changeup. Just kind of look-see pitch. You know, in this situation here, if he can spot the fastball and then show a slider, pretty much just 2 pitches.
We'll see. Formerly the Dodgers closer. Closed some games in the Milwaukee Brewers as well. 36 saves for him in a Dodgers uniform back in 2009. Also had a few saves for the Kansas City Royals back in 2012. Working the 8th inning for Mike Matheny. A 3-run lead as Wallace on a close pitch will take ball 4. Good start to the bottom of the 8th for the Padres. Last thing that Broxton really wanted to do here, just got a 3-run lead and walks the leadoff hitter.
Hey, we talked about 3-run shots earlier in the game, and the journey begins with the first step, right? That first step of the walk for Brett Wallace.
Second time Wallace has been on. Alexei Ramirez standing in. 2-hit day. Those singles to left for Ramirez. He has driven in a run and scored a run. Take strike 1. Broxton, 31 years old, from Augusta, Georgia. Foul back by Ramirez, down 0-2. Five innings from Mike Leake, the starter for St. Louis. He gives up all 5 runs the Padres have scored in this game. Soon Won Oh came in for an inning. Shutout inning at that. Kevin Siegrist a shutout inning, and now Jonathan Broxton working the 8th. One and 2. Jose Pirela has come out on deck. That is now the pitcher spot. Part of the double switch earlier that saw Jamal Weeks leave the game and Adam Rosales come into the game. Away, and it's 2-2. In the air to left. Hazelbaker in a step or 2. They'll put it away for out number 1 of the 8th inning.
Out in front of the breaking ball just a little bit too much.
It's time now for the Cholula flamethrower.
Easy for you to say.
Not so much.
Jonathan Broxton, 94. That's hot sauce.
He's the Cholula flamethrower. Better the second time than my first attempt.
It's about bouncing back.
It is. One out, runner at first. And Jose Pirela came into the game defensively last night and played a little infield for the Padres.
Give you some advice. The great ones adjust. Just put that in the back of your craw.
I will.
Big gap in right center field because boy, Grichuk is playing way over.
Sun back with us again.
He's way over in left center. Big gap out there.
The shadows creeping towards home plate as the afternoon goes on. Well, thought about it, but a pitch in the dirt. Padres trying to get something done. The leadoff walk for Brett Wallace. Alexei Ramirez flying out to left. One out, one on. Off the end of the bat foul. 2-2.
See Broxton keeping everything down and away. You know, even Alexei Ramirez, when he was deep in that count, he flew out to left, but still away. He can still hump it up now. He can get up to about 98. Jonathan Broxton.
Pirela fights this off on the ground to first base. A bobble there by Moss. He'll have only the one out. And he didn't get it. He realized he only had one play to make and kind of just took his time getting to first. And credit Pirela for getting down the line and reaching.
Wow. Moss. Okay, then he's going to take it easy. This is going to. Oh, wow. What do you got?
I think he's safe. I don't know now.
Oh, you know what? Photo finish. Hold all tickets.
I don't know. And Matheny is looking into the dugout. He is going to challenge. So they think they got enough here to overturn it. Right now, the call on the field is safe. See if there is enough there. And that's what you wonder, is it conclusive enough to overturn it?
Tell you what, there are a lot of scouts in the stands, a lot of scouts watching this game right now. What do they put down for Jose Pirela in their little notebook? Busts his tail down the line.
Yes, he does. Wasn't giving up on that
I
play.
mean, a couple of things. As soon as that ball was hit, you know, he's thinking probably, okay, got to stay out of the double play because Moss was trying to go to second.
Right.
But still, he saw the play right in front of him, bobble, and then he's nonchalant into the bag. That's an exciting play.
We'll get another look here. The crowd reacts. They think he's safe here at the park. We'll see. That looks like a tie. And a tie goes to.
That's backyard rules.
Wiffle ball?
That's
it
wiffle
doesn't
ball.
count Major League Baseball?
That's backyard wiffle ball rules. I think he's safe.
Do you think he flat out beat it?
What great hustle. Boy, you really have to admire
Love
that.
it.
That's.
A safe chant going up here at Petco Park. Brandon Moss is going to make a little better effort to get to first base.
I was surprised he was just so nonchalant about it. Yeah.
Didn't realize the speed of Pirela coming down the line. Probably figured he had a lot more time than he did.
What's Moss thinking right now? Please be out. Please be out.
Please be out.
Please be out.
He's safe.
Nice.
Tying run will be coming to the plate here for the Padres in the 8th.
Hey, let that be an example for all baseball players out there, young, old, in between. You got to give 90 feet. You got to bust your tail 90 feet.
Christian Bethancourt coming up. Good for Barella. He is at first base. Wallace at second base. One out here in the Padres' 8th inning. Bethancourt has already homered in this game. Did that in the 4th inning. It's out of the way of that 91-mile-an-hour fastball coming in. In there for a strike, got the arms out of the way, but grabs the strike zone and evens the count. Bethancourt with a sac fly to go along with that home run that he had in the 4th inning. "17 pitches now for Broxton in the inning, dealing with his 4th Padres hitter of this 8th. Swing and a miss.
That was the one, middle end, up a little bit. That's every hitter's dream right there if you want to make a difference and put a good swing on one. He wants it down and away, it leaks, and that's
94.
a nice,
That's some gas.
Yep.
Those are up for the Padres. Fernando Rodney. Swing and a miss. Fastball again, 94 again. This time strikes out Bethancourt. Out number 2 of the inning.
That's a good old-fashioned challenge. Back-to-back fastballs. The first one leaked middle in, swung on and missed, and that one leaks middle in. Swing and a miss. Just underneath it.
So 2 down. Rosales the batter. Came in as part of the double switch. His only plate appearance, a strikeout in the 6th inning.
By the way, I love the rule book. And if you're interested, there's no such thing as a tie, but what happens is the runner has to beat the ball or the player to the bag. So if that doesn't happen, he's out. He has to beat it. So in essence, in a quote tie,
does not go to the
he
runner
is out.
In Major League Baseball.
So all those kids playing wiffle ball, you can just throw that out the window. But it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You have to beat the play.
Right.
The runner has to beat the play.
So if they hit the bag at the same time, he's out.
Correct.
I think I got it. 2 down here in the 8th. Wallace at second. Barella at first. Andy Green hoping for some late inning magic here. The Padres trailing by 3 in the 8th. On the corner. Maybe.
Oh, that's precious right there.
Gonzalez taking a hack. That was 96. So Broxton bringing it more so here as the inning goes on. Reaching back, a little extra.
Come out of your shoes, Adam.
Wallace at second. Barella at first. Tying run at the plate right now. And Adam Rosales. Strike 3 call. Rosales knew it. Takes with him the second strikeout for Broxton. So the Padres threaten but do not score. We head for the 9th. reach seems to be greater than ever for now. Cuba remains one country that's outside its reach. Watch our special documentary, Cuba, baseball's final frontier, tomorrow following Padres Live postgame. That's going to be outstanding. We've seen a little bit of pieces of each of those, and can't wait to see the entire show. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
Brad Hand coming in here for the Padres, pitcher number 5 of the day.
Aloha, Mr. Hand. Just one thing in mind. Throw up a 0 here, and then the Padres in their bottom half of the 9th try to score 3 or 4 to win it. 3 to tie, 4 to win. Got to keep them at 8. And Jose Pirela, say he gets the Hustle Award today.
Yes, he does.
He goes into second base.
So Maurer departs on the hook right now for the Padres. As this one fouled back. First pitch here, Hazelbaker taking a hack. So this is my time, and this is your time. This is our time. Right? That's right. Mr. Hand with a pitch outside.
And with the promo you just read about Cuba, just what are you doing? Just having some pizza, learning about Cuba.
Do you have any movie references that are after like 1978? It's fouled off to the left out of play.
You know what my philosophy is?
Have you seen a movie in the last 10 years?
You know what my philosophy is?
What's that?
If one person gets it,
that's
that's
funny.
all that matters.
That's right. Good to know.
Movies today don't have the same shelf life like they
True.
have back in the
I
70s
agree.
and 80s.
Yep. 1-2 is outside to Hazelbaker. Hazelbaker, Jerko, and Diaz. And Jerko today has had a great day. Foul tip held onto by Christian Bethancourt for strike 3.
Hey, next Sunday, NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing heads to the big one at Talladega with the Geico 500, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. will defend his title from last year, beginning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on your local Fox station, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
One out here in the 9th inning, and it brings up Jed Jerko.
By the way, Fast Times at Ridgemont High was
Yes.
based on Claremont High School here in San Diego.
I did not know that. Cutting off that bouncer is Wallace. He stepped in front of Alexei Ramirez. Gets the job done for the second out of the 9th inning.
That's his play. He's got more momentum going towards first base, so communication comes into part, no question about it, but a nice play by Brett Wallace.
It's Piccoli, played by Sean Penn. 2 down. Why are you looking at my scorecard? Are you not following along in the game?
I forgot what Hazelbaker did.
He struck out swinging.
Thank you. There's going to be a lot of that this year.
You're going to be looking over here a lot?
It happened in school quite a bit, too. Just don't tell my parents. Yeah, there's going to be times when I'm looking around, and then all of a sudden I look, what did he do? And I'll be
Your
like,
space. This is my space. We have sort of a line here in the middle.
oh, we do?
I thought so.
Oh, mi casa, su casa. That's the way I work.
2 down in the inning. And it's fouled off at the dish. You got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I've got too much
You got
stuff.
a lot of stuff. This is our first game together.
Since
we worked in
spring
spring training, but you didn't have all this stuff in spring training. This is a regular season big league game, and you brought a lot of stuff.
I think I'd rather be over-prepared.
It's unbelievable.
Is it over-prepared or overly prepared?
I don't know. This is back up the middle and by the dive. Pirela into center field, sharply hit.
I love the dive by Pirela to his right. That ball was spanked very hard.
Third hit of the day now for Diaz.
How close was it? Oh, yeah, that ball was well by him there. But great effort by Jose Pirela.
Watching Matt Holliday with the day off until now. He comes off the bench with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Start of the first 2 games of this series. A .214 average so far on the year. 3 homers, 9 runs batted in. A veteran of a young outfield for the Cardinals. So we are seeing start today's game for St. Louis, but now Holiday into the game. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be the top of the Padres order. John Jay, Will Myers, Matt Kemp. Two and 0. Strike over the inside corner, and it's now 2-1. Rosenthal getting ready in the pen, the closer for the Cardinals. 4 saves on the year right now, a save situation. And falling behind 3-1. Fouled off, full count. Top of the order, waiting on deck, Matt Carpenter. Cardinals trying to add on here in the 9th inning. They have a 3-run lead after a 3-run. Top half of the 8th inning broke a 5-5 tie.
You don't want Holiday to get extended here.
On the ground and through the right side into right field. Diaz heading for third base. He'll get there without a problem. And the Cardinals trying to get something done here with 2 outs. They're first and third.
We know Matt Holiday can put a charge into one, but the veteran hitter, 3-2, he's got to protect. This pitch coming in, it's a strike, high strike, away. So what does he do? Punches it to the right side, a 3-hopper. That's a good at bat.
First and third, 2 down. Matt Carpenter, top of the lineup, coming up here. Lefty-lefty matchup. Carpenter 2 for 10 in this series.
You know, Matt Carpenter could be 0 for 10 in the series, but he's always a guy who doesn't give away at bats and gives it every time at the plate. Fights off pitches, good command of the strike zone. We talk about pitcher's command. He's got a good eye for the strike zone as well as a hitter.
That's what Mike Matheny is banking on, having him as the leadoff hitter, trying to get on base, finding a way, set the table. Tardy on that fastball from hand at 94 miles an hour.
Some Little Leaguers here today prior to the game, parading around the warning track, having a good old time here at Petco.
And had been designated for assignment by the Marlins the first week of April the 3rd, prior to the start of the season. Claimed off waivers from the Marlins by the Padres. 7th appearance for Hand now for the Padres. Fly ball center field. John Jay headed back, still going, and Jay will make the running catch shy of the track that ends the inning. Top of the order coming up for the Padres. Work to do against this guy. Carl's Jr. star of the game. Randall Grichuk with a 3-hit day, a single in the first, a single in the fifth, a double in the eighth. Part of that 3-run eighth inning for the St. Louis Cardinals. So 3 hits, 3 RBIs for Grichuk. And an 8-5 lead as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Trevor Rosenthal into the game now for the Cardinals, the closer.
Well, he recorded his 100th save on Wednesday, 5th in St. Louis Cardinal history. 4 for 4, ERA at 3. But look at the strikeouts in 6 innings. Ouch. And the splits. He's tough. Challenge here for San Diego, trailing by 3. Here's another former Redbird.
Top of the order, John Jay to get it started here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jay takes strike 1. Reached on an error in the 5th inning, but did come around to score a run. 6-game hitting streak on the line now for John Jay.
Well, you may ask why the such good numbers for Trevor Rosenthal. He's got a fastball. He's getting up to 100. 94 to 100. He averages 97.
That's good.
Yeah. And he paints like that. Also throws a cutter once in a while, a changeup and a curveball.
48 saves for him last year, 45 the year before. Slap foul.
He's almost one of those pitchers, Don, to where he can say to the hitter, hey, I'm throwing a 4-seamer, and he's still difficult to hit. And when you can command that, it makes it that much tougher.
99. Off the mark, though, 2-2.
Went Toto on him right there, 99. Nina, 99 red Loof balloons.
$1980. 2-2. Jammed and he fouls it off to the left. Did they have another song? That was it, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Fouled off to the left. Still 2-2. 98 from Rosenthal again. Jay trying to get it going here for the Padres, trailing by 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Set the table. Got Myers next, then Kemp.
Here's a fastball away from Molina.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming up here for John Jay in a good battle.
Look at the outfield and the way they are positioned.
Shallow and for him to go the other way.
Goodness, look at that in left field. Hazelbaker is he can carry on a conversation with the security guard and the ball girl down there.
This at bat about to extend into double figures. Pitch 10. Making Rosenthal work to begin this 9th inning. And it's ball 3.
Tried to throw a change up there at 89.
Derek Norris with batting gloves on and a bat. On the bench today. Catching last night. In the air to right field. Piscotty going back, and he will make the catch. Backpedaling shy of the track. Long battle, but it is Rosenthal who wins that battle with a fly out to right field. Well, after this ball game today, the Padres will be heading to San Francisco to take on the Giants, and they get Bumgarner, Cueto, and Samardzija right at you.
And the Giants will get lefty Pomeranz, who's making some great progress. James Shields and Andrew Kashner On the hill of thrills for the Friars.
Kasher coming off back-to-back outstanding outings. Yeah. Myers will take a pitch high. On base 3 times today, Will Myers. Walk, a single, a walk, and last time up struck out. A base hit in the 3rd extended his hitting streak to 9 games. Exit foul off to the right, out of play. Swing and a miss. 98.
That's firm. That's some serious fuzz. Try catching up that when it's, you know, above the belt buckle for a legitimate strike.
Outside. 2-2.
They got the rally caps going.
Myers reaches out, takes it the other way, and has got himself a base hit. Second hit of the day for Will Myers.
That's how you counter the 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Watch how short and quick he is with this baseball. That ball almost in the center of his stance, taking it the other way.
Now Matt Kemp coming up. A double in the 3rd, 1 for 4 day.
Be interesting to see get that tying run to the plate. One more base runner.
However, instead of Melvin Upton Jr., who would be on deck, it would be Travis Jankowski. As Upton Jr. had been ejected earlier, arguing balls and strikes. Ejected by home plate umpire Sean Barber. There is Jankowski waiting on deck. Fouled back to the screen, and it's 0-2. 99 for you. Myers with that base hits, got that batting average up to .316. A start to 2016 for Will Myers. Frame there by Molina.
Got squeezed.
Another opportunity here for Matt Kemp.
That's the frame job by Molina, trying to stick it right at the knees. Pretty good pitch.
Reaches out and grounds one into right field for a base hit. Heading from first to third goes Myers. He'll get there, and the Padres will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th. And they call back Jankowski as Derek Norris will be coming up.
Things are getting interesting, like Will Myers going to right field. He takes that one and lets it travel. Myers, secondary lead. He's got third base on his mind, doesn't even break stride.
So here we go. Derek Norris pinch hitting here in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 on, 1 out. Cardinals getting their defense set. They're playing Norris straight away in the infield at double play depth.
Let's see if the Revenant can do some damage.
Morris with a swing and a miss at 97, taking a hack at the first pitch that he sees.
And you know, you have to have that in the back of your mind. I mean, that's the one pitch Rosenthal has had his most success with, is that fastball. Talking about the home runs allowed. Runners on, 1 empty, 0.67 average.
Derek Norris with 4 pinch hit home runs in his career. Would love one right here to tie this game. Fouls it back at 97, 0-2.
Well, as a Padre, Derek Norris has come up with some big home runs to make a difference in some games. No doubt about that.
Myers at third, Kemp at first, 1 out. One and 2.
Molina throwing behind the runner. He's always got that in his back pocket. That was almost like you've heard of the delayed steal. How about the delayed throw to third base?
Trying to catch him napping.
Yep.
Using Norris as a shield.
Look at Carpenter. He's just kind of nonchalantly. They almost get him.
Feeney's checking to see here whether or not they're going to challenge this. Molina looking in. They will not.
Hey, I saw a game here about 10 years ago where Molina ended the game picking off Brian Giles at first base to end a game.
Norris carves it foul, 97. Paul's been anywhere from 97 to 99. That throw a lot of pitches though here in the ninth. 24. His next pitch will be his 25th of the inning. Has 1 out. Padres have battled.
Well, if he can make, take the same blueprint that Kemp and Myers took by just trying to spank something the opposite way.
And fouled off to the right.
We got a battle going on here.
Protecting the plate. Conference at the mound coming from all over the infield here for the Cardinals.
Looks like Molina did most of the talking there, didn't he?
He did. It's like a huddle. No coaches involved, although the Cardinals will tell you Molina is a coach.
Hey, and be careful at first base too. Matt Kemp, he already threw down to third base. He'll throw down to first base as well after a pitch, especially with that right-handed hitter at the plate. He's got the front door open down to first.
Bounces in, 2-2.
And I've even seen the Cardinals, after a meeting like that, as we take a look at this last pitch, a nice block by Molina, they'll say, hey, on the second pitch after this meeting, we'll put a pick on. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. Like this pitch, maybe after the pitch, throw down to first base and try to throw behind the runner. Just a thought.
Ball 3. How about this at bat for Norris?
Interesting. It's a great at bat.
Brett Wallace waiting on deck. Perfectly capable of taking you out of the yard as well. Tying run at the plate. 1 out in the ninth for the Padres. Norris will take strike 3.
That ball's off the plate. It was a battle. Derek Norris off the bench. Rosenthal throwing about 97, 98. Now fastballs. He mixes in a changeup there. Derek's doing everything he can to try to get on top and square up a fastball after Matt Kemp and Will Myers go to the right side. And you know what? It doesn't need help like that. That ball is clearly off the plate.
Now Brett Wallace. Strike 1. So instead of the bases being loaded with 1 out, 2 outs, and the Padres down to their last out. In that time. 1-1. 30 pitches in the inning now for Rosenthal. It's been a long inning. 20 of those for strikes. Myers at third, Kemp at first, 2 outs in the 9th, and Norris thought he had the walk after a great lengthy battle. Strike 2.
Good changeup.
It's tough when you got to worry about 99 miles an hour to drop the changeup on you.
Exactly.
Of course, the opposition has to deal with the same when Fernando Rodney is in there. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Staying alive. Jay fly to right to begin the inning. Myers single to right. Kemp single to right. Norris pinch hit. Lengthy battle, struck out.
Guess they stopped action because that guy in the white shirt out in the batter's eye.
He's now moved as Wallace back in the box. The 1-2 in the dirt. Hoping to get a chance here, Alexei Ramirez, but it'll take something here from Brett Wallace. 2 outs in the Padres' 9th inning.
Infield to pull, outfield to go the opposite way for Wallace.
On the ground, right side. Jerko, the second baseman, throws out Wallace, and that's the ball game. So a frustrating loss for the Padres. The Cardinals with an 8-5 win as they take 2 out of 3 in the series. Let's send it to Mike Pomerantz. What do you got, Mike, coming up?
Don, enjoy the run up to San Francisco. When Mark and I see you on a post-game show, you're going to hear from both managers and a whole lot more in moments.